go. Look at that. Stuff and things.
Stuff.
All right. Open the browser. Got the chat going. Happy Friday, everybody. What a day. Had to get my vehicle fixed again today. Every 2 weeks, I gotta spend my Friday getting my car fixed because it's a piece of crap. What's up, Mom? My repair today was only $45 because he didn't charge me any labor. So, wasn't that bad, but hey. He charged me the exact price of the part. That was it. Not what he would have charged with an upcharge and no labor. What's up, Kathy? Is there anything interesting happening locally? Did I miss something? I don't think I did.
Oh my god. That's beautiful.
So I might be introing Roseanne at her show on Friday. So
hey, I might be able to.
We're on the.
I heard just now.
Just saying. So.
Yeah. Because I just talked to the person here who handles the learner, and who asked if the learner asked if Casey could introduce her, and then I said, hey, if you're going to talk to her, I said I could use a couple tickets for Joe's mom, and he's like, no worries, I'll get it done. And I said, thank you.
So the Cubs ban a fan over frivolous reasons, and you immediately switch over to the Sox? Is that what happened?
Well, let me correct you as always, Casey. I am not switching over to the Sox. I've always been a Sox.
Have you always been a Sox fan?
My entire life.
I didn't know that.
Born and raised in Davenport, Iowa.
Did not know you were a
Sox
Sox
fan.
fan.
Sometimes Cubs fan. But I've always.
I don't think I've ever seen you wear a Sox.
Always been a Sox fan. And in fact, when we first got cable at my house, which we were the last ones on the block to have cable, I used to watch the Sox with Harry Carey because he used to call the Sox games.
He used to call the Sox games,
Yeah, and so that was my first. In fact, I would say a Harry Carey White Sox baseball game was my first ever watching a TV baseball game.
No kidding.
Yeah.
I don't think I've ever seen you wear Sox gear before.
Yep, I have. Oh yeah, I've worn this shirt before.
You probably have. You're just up there and down here a lot.
I couldn't wear it for a while when I was bigger.
Interesting.
It's a little form.
Interesting. Well, we're gonna pretend. This is stream content only. We're going to pretend that you have abandoned the Cubs over the frivolous banning of that fan yesterday and are now a Sox fan.
Well, I do think that's a ridiculous story. I will say that.
It is ridiculous.
Yeah. But I still show allegiance for the South Bend Cubs. My daughter used to work there, so.
Well, I mean, they're a good organization.
Yeah.
We'll have Joe in here in the next couple weeks.
Oh, yeah.
About the Memorial Day thing?
Yeah.
So he's going to be coming in.
All right, cool. Sweet. Thank you.
Whew.
Oh, yeah, and Mike Keyworth is supposed to tell me what time the show is, the Roseanne show. I kind of think around 8 o'clock.
Okay. I'm just, as long as I know when I'm there, because,
Okay.
If she was going to hit at 7 and I had to get out of here to do opening act stuff and everything, then I just didn't want to mess with the show.
Okay.
Hey, good afternoon. Thank you for tuning in. News Talk 95.3, Michiana's news channel. I am your host, Casey Hendrickson. Phone number, 574-25-95-95.3. Joe, you have a job. Okay? You have a job to do. You actually have to work today. All right? Is that okay? Okay. You must find me Marilyn Monroe's Happy Birthday rendition to JFK. Okay? Must have that for later on in the program. All right. I do want to thank our sponsors, Second Amendment Arms and Range, located in New Carlisle. And, of course, they have 10 dedicated shooting lanes, rifle and pistol. And if you mention me, you get to shoot for half price. How cool is that? Go to secondamendmentarms.net for more information. Speaking of boomsticks, your entire existence in purchasing firearms or selling firearms may change if this passes. Now, it won't pass because Democrats are going to get in the way of this, But it's an interesting piece of legislation. And if Republicans were to win both houses again and retain the White House, this could be something that is in the very near future. Republican whip Steve Scalise, who, by the way, was nearly murdered by a crazy Bernie fan, okay, led several pro-gun members of his caucus, including Representative Ralph Abraham, Republican of Louisiana, Andy Barr of Kentucky, Clay Higgins of Louisiana, Mike Johnson of Louisiana, Alex Mooney of West Virginia, and David Schweikert, I believe is how you say it, Arizona, all Republicans, and introducing a bill to modernize the way that firearms are sold under federal law. We're actually talking about changing the entire way that firearms are sold. The Firearms Interstate Commerce Reform Act, or FICRA. I'm so going to screw this up and get fired by saying that acronym. So FICRA would update antiquated provisions of the Gun Control Act that reflect a bygone era of criminal record keeping and remove arbitrary impediments for law-abiding gun buyers and sellers. Oh, this is interesting stuff. All right, so now, current law. This is the FFL. You can only operate in the state in which their business premises is located. You can only sell or transfer handguns to persons who live in that state. An FFL can sell a long gun to a person who lives out of state, provided the sale occurs in a face-to-face transaction and complies with the laws of the state of the sale and the state of the residence of the purchaser. Okay? All right. So, pretty simple, basic stuff, right? This changes it. They go into some of the ways that this can get all screwed up with Clio and the Brady Bill and all of that stuff, okay? But forget about that stuff. I'm just going to skip right over to what FICRA would do. Let's see. The relatively uncontroversial nature of interstate long gun sales also underscores that it is long past time to remove the arbitrary barriers that persist with handgun sales. So FICRA would update the law so FFLs could sell long guns or handguns to customers from out of state. It would also permit FFLs to sell firearms at gun shows outside the state where their licensed premises are located. So if you are an FFL dealer, you could travel to gun shows now and actually set up booths. You don't just have to stay in town. In either case, the sale would have to occur in a face-to-face transaction and comply with the law of both the buyer's state and of residence and the state where the sale occurred. The FFL would also have to comply with all of the record-keeping, identification, and background check requirements that apply to any other retail sale. Okay, so there's nothing there. The bill would additionally address the unique situations of active duty military members and members of the civilian foreign service to ensure that postings away from their usual U.S. states of legal residence does not cost them their ability to lawfully exercise their Second Amendment rights. The upshot of all of these changes is that federal and state laws would continue to be enforced, while gun sellers and consumers would have more freedom and flexibility to conduct their lawful activities. Now, the opinion section of this on the Daily Caller says, in a sane world, it would be considered an uncontroversial update to laws that had not kept pace with technology and modern law enforcement, and a way to protect the rights of those who are in service to their country, sacrifice the relatively stable and predictable residence situations that most others enjoy. Unfortunately, the U.S. House of Representatives has not lately been a model of rational or practical thinking, but should Congress decide to return to sanity, FICRA would be an excellent place to start. That was really interesting. So, and again, they're in the House, so the chances of this thing passing, not good. All right, but it's out there. You now have the proposal. Sometimes what ends up happening, you get these things, and then they make their way through various committee. They die for a little bit, but then they can get brought back up at a later time to vote, or somebody can wrap them into another bill or something of that nature. And really, the issue, if you're looking at this and you're going, all right, well, you know what? Hey, this helps with records, but also we don't have an issue with selling long guns to anybody. Why can't we sell handguns in the same fashion that we sell long guns to people right now instead of restricting all of that? It's got to be face-to-face. The laws of the issuing FFL state as well as the resident state should all be applied, and everything should be good to go. But also, if you are an FFL, you'll be able to now go to a gun show and have a booth and sell under your license legally in another state. So you could actually travel around and sell your firearms with your license instead of just being stuck where you're at. So this is a really interesting prospect. And the fact that it comes from an individual who was nearly murdered by somebody who went to the baseball field and decided to open fire on a bunch of Republicans because they were deranged lunatic, that might help somewhat. But obviously, the Democrats are going to have a collective freak out about all of this, and they're going to kill it any way that they can by saying it increases access to firearms and that sort of stuff. But still really interesting. So we'll see exactly what happens with it. We'll continue to track it. Like I said, I'm not hopeful that it goes anywhere in the House, but it'll be interesting nonetheless. Okay, 574-25-95-95-3. That is 2595-953. Can also send a text message to 45364. Please put MNC at the beginning of that message. Let's see. I don't have any updates really on that mansion situation. Somebody sent me a text and asked me about the mansion situation in LA yesterday. I don't really have anything. If it's out there, I'm sure there's been updates. I just haven't seen them today. So it's just not a story that I was looking for today. So I'll poke around a little bit during one of the news breaks and see if I can find something about that. If you don't remember, there was more than 1,000 guns that were seized at a mansion in Bel Air yesterday. There was an anonymous tip that came to law enforcement that said that the guy that was living in the mansion was selling guns out of his house. Now, the guy does have an FFL. We don't know what the premises is of the FFL, where that is. Okay, we're not sure, and I don't know necessarily that the individual was committing a crime. We're just going off of the premise that the ATF said that he was not operating within the confines of his license, and so we're just waiting for more of those details to kind of drop. I haven't seen them. If they're out there, I apologize. Somebody sent me a text about it since we're talking about guns. They figured they'd ask. So as soon as I know something, I will pass it on to all of you. Also, don't forget a couple of things. One, you can watch the live stream by going to youtube.com/Casey the host right now. It is live. We're up and running with the video. You can also go to twitch.tv/Casey the host if you prefer to use the Twitch platform, which is a better platform, by the way. And in the 5 o'clock hour, we got open lines. You can call about anything you want. So at 5 o'clock, we basically turn the show over to you. And if you are angry about something that I said, you're angry about the election results, or you're happy about them, or anything else, you can absolutely give us a call and bring those up, or really anything else, whether we've discussed it or not. We got more coming up on News Talk 95.3, Michiana's news channel.
Casey Hendrickson.
News Talk 95.3, Michiana.
Do you want the full version or the 30-second?
30 seconds. I don't need the Mr. President bit. Yeah, no kidding, Alex.
This one?
She must have been high as a kite when she sang that, dude. Every time I hear her sing that. Well, she was trying to be sultry, but if you've ever heard Marilyn Monroe be sultry before, like, she sounds like she's high as a kite. So. Gonna need it. Gonna need it. Gonna need it. All right. What do we got here? Do the show prep. So I gotta go to my website. Gotta do some. Y'all download the app yet? How many of you got the app? Raise your hand. That many? Damn.
You want the link to that?
Huh?
You want the link to that, or you want me to play it?
No, I'll just play it.
I need
I mean, I could have done it, but I figured I had you here. And since you were already in work mode, I was just gonna let you do it.
I just gotta get the...
I didn't even know Roseanne was coming back in town. Wasn't she just here, or has this just been promotion for that one event?
This has been the same one.
Oh my God, really? I thought she came and went. Looks like I might be introing Roseanne when she comes to town next week. So. I'm with you, dude. I'm ready for this commercial to go away. I'm ready for the show to end and for us to never have to hear this commercial ever again. I never
They had like different cuts of it. I think it'd be better. They're just playing the same one.
I never got the appeal of the show. I always wanted to like the show. Ultimately, it wasn't a show that I raged about. If it were on in the background, I could watch it and be entertained. But everybody watched that show for Kaylee Cuoco. Let's be honest. Introing, yeah. So basically, it's just hey, Roseanne! Woo! Who's just peachy, and why are you calling me?
It's you. Like, what the hell?
Who is just peachy, and why are you calling me? And why am I signed into Skype? I haven't done anything with Skype in years. I don't remember the last time I did a Skype thing.
Oh, Thermodyne.
Thermodyne.
Beginning.
Thermodyne.
Hey, I'm Andy. If you don't know me, it's probably because I'm not famous. But I did
Probably,
start a
Andy.
grooming company
You
called Harry's.
suck.
The idea for Harry's came out of a frustrating experience I had buying razor blades. Most brands were
You want to
overpriced,
play it as the intro
overdesigned,
music?
and out of touch.
Yeah, man, you can do
Harry's
that.
approach is simple.
I'm asking how
Here's
you
our
want
secret.
it.
You can do that right now.
We make sharp,
That's
durable
cool.
blades and sell
Let's
them
get it
at
done and over with.
prices for as low as $2 each.
We are 9 years old today.
Crazy things, like buy a world-class German blade factory. Obsessing over every
Who's
detail
Tommy
means we're
Worthy?
confident in offering
Who?
100%
Tommy
quality
Worthy.
guarantee. Millions
No
of guys
idea.
have already made the switch
Nope.
to Harry's.
Ah,
So thank you if
they-
you're one of them. And if you're not,
Oh,
give us a
well,
try
she's
with this
a
special
person who
offer.
sent out the
Get a
emails.
Harry
I
starter
guess he's a
set with
salesperson
a
for Bear.
5-blade razor, weighted
Oh, is
heel,
that the dude that got
gel, and a
canned?
travel belt.
No, he
All for just $3
turned in his
plus free shipping.
resignation.
Resignation.
And enter 1616 at checkout. That's
There was some
harrys.com,
suspicions that somebody got fired today,
1616. Enjoy.
so he resigned. Got it.
Oh, I did not.
I heard it was a bear person, so that was not.
Or the off-road dad's breakfast, we
Yeah.
sponsor it in other area schools to elevate the role of dads and mentors in kids' lives.
Yeah, buddy. Yeah, buddy. Yeah, buddy.
I'm Matt Strock from DJ Construction. We
Uh,
live here, we care here. DJ Construction,
Ugh.
building our community.
good lord.
That's your first call.
All right.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, Mr. President.
I should have cut in there.
Happy birthday to you.
All right, Marilyn Monroe, thank you so much. It is our birthday today. MNC is 9 years old, still throwing tantrums like a sub-10-year-old.
We're in third grade.
Woo, yeah. So, you know what was really funny is I was riding around just this week. Okay, I did not remember that this week was our anniversary. Okay, and I'm riding around this week, and I'm like, man, I haven't heard about when our birthday is. It's got to be coming up at some point here soon. And I was saying, we need to do something every day for MNC's birthday. And I figured, you know what? Why not just be this really simple thing like everybody who goes through a drive-through just picks up the tab for the person behind them and says, courtesy of 95.3 MNC. And so when the next person pulls up to get their thing and say, no, 95.3 MNC just bought your meal for you. And then people will be like, who are they? I mean, okay, most people will be like, oh, I love or hate them. But then there's going to be a couple of people who are going to be like, who are they? And they're going to check us out. And then they're either going to love us or hate us. So, you know, either way, really. But it's just one of those like viral marketing things. And it doesn't cost us a thing to do it. Awesome.
So I have to ask the question that John asked me when I came in earlier today.
Okay.
Where were you 9 years ago, Casey?
Where was I 9 years ago? Probably sitting in a real estate office, helping people walk away from their. Because I think MNC started after I lost my last gig before he hired me. So there was there's that little bit of a gap where I did real estate.
Mm-hmm.
And so we were helping people literally buy the house cash across the street from where they were currently living and then walk away from their balloon payment. It was great. It was a good time. Good time. Helped a lot of families. Still makes people mad, but hey, whatever. So MNC is 9 years old today. Like I said, still throwing tantrums. All right, 574-2595-95.3. That is 2595-953. Can also send a text message to 45364. Please put MNC at the beginning of that message. This is interesting. So the court has blocked a deal that bans the Indiana Sheriff's ICE cooperation. A federal appeals court is tossing out an agreement under which the Sheriff's Department in Indianapolis stopped detaining people based solely on U.S. immigrations and custom enforcement requests. The ruling from the Chicago-based appeals court released on Thursday comes after the Indiana Attorney General's office argued a federal judge in Indianapolis improperly approved the 2017 agreement settling a lawsuit against the Marion County Sheriff's Department. The lawsuit claims that a man was wrongfully jailed after an ICE detention request made without an arrest warrant. Republican Attorney General Curtis Hill, I've got to have him on. He's done two things here this past week that we've got to talk about. Says that the ruling upholds state law requiring police agencies to cooperate with federal immigration authorities. So obviously the ACLU of Indiana filed the original lawsuit, says that it is evaluating its legal options now with this. But this is still really interesting because so there was this, basically what was happening is ICE was saying, hey, Sheriff, can you detain these people in your area under our deportation orders and that sort of thing, and hold them for us, and then we'll get them and deport them. And so the sheriff was doing that. Well, then there was a lawsuit in Marion County about this, where the ACLU was supporting an illegal immigrant who was detained this way, and said, no, you have to have an arrest warrant to go ahead and do this, because I guess somehow they're entitled to constitutional rights, but whatever. So the Attorney General, Curtis Hill, he fights against this and has now had that overturned. What is up with these federal courts based out of Chicago lately? They're going Trump's way. What is happening? Ninth Circuit, too, went Trump's way just the other day. Something's happened. Something very strange and very weird has been happening with all of this as of late. But what exactly that means, I'm not really sure. It could be that people are starting to be reasonable about this. I don't know. Very, very, very interesting stuff. Then you have, in another court situation, you have a court in Kentucky. So the court in Kentucky was pre-signing child service forms so that kids can be taken away from parents. Kentucky's Cabinet for Health and Family Services, the state agency that provides child protective services, has a practice of obtaining blank emergency custody orders pre-signed by judges. Social workers then fill out the documents with the necessary information after they have been signed by a judge, and then use them to take custody of children from parents who have come under investigation. So basically what ends up happening is they have some judge who just takes a blank form and he signs his name on it, or her name on it, and gives it to this agency. When the agency feels like they need to take a child away from their parents, then again, sometimes it's going to be justifiable and sometimes it's not. All they do is fill out the form. The judge never evaluates the case whatsoever and then signs off on all of this. It is pre-done. So Reason.com says, let me repeat that. No judge actually reviews these orders or the evidence used to justify separating a family before signing them. This practice is a galling abuse of parents' rights and basic civil liberties. It only came to an end after an investigative report by WDRB 41. Previously, copies of the blank orders with signatures from Jefferson District Court judges were left at the homes of the innocents on Market Street and filled in by cabinet workers, giving them the power to remove children without a judge reviewing the allegations written on the order or filling out other necessary documentation. This is egregious. The system that is currently set up allows for the social workers to call an on-call judge on the phone, then fill out the order themselves, a blank order with a judge's signature on it, says the attorney Karen Faulkner. and children are being illegally taken from their home without a judge's proper authority. And in some cases, attorneys and some judges claim cabinet workers have used blank copies of the pre-signed child removal orders to take kids from their parents, only later filling in the allegations and other items on the order. The judges and attorneys for the parents don't see the orders until a hearing 3 days after the child has actually been removed. Holy smokes! Defendants of the practice said that it was necessary to address off-hours investigations. No, it's not. That's the whole point of having an on-call judge. Right? So that's this. Okay, this is like saying, look, we have a hospital. Okay, we got an emergency room, and we have some janitors who are here 24 hours a day cleaning. So we're going to go ahead and make the night janitor your surgeon today, because, and we've got a note from a doctor saying that he can totally do surgery for you because, well, we needed doctors after hours. And no, that's the whole point of having doctor staff 24/7. That's kind of the reason for all of this. Social workers were apparently too lazy to visit these judges at their homes and were technologically incapable of using e-signatures, so it became common practice to have the judges pre-sign the documents. Holy moly. The Blaze noted that Kentucky officials clearly abused this loophole, highlighting a case in which a social worker allegedly used a re-signed form to take custody of 3 kids. It had been the judge's understanding that only one of the kids would be removed from the home. Separating children from their parents is one of the most traumatizing forms of coercion, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Holy smokes. I mean, I wish I could say that I was surprised. I'm not surprised by all of this. It's just crazy. So people that we know, they have some relatives who are dealing with stuff like this, as they have discovered that one relative is abusing kids, and now the family is doing what they can to protect the kids and get them away, and they've been successful at it, but it's been bit of a nightmare. So, I mean, this is obviously pretty traumatizing, but to have the judges just sign a bunch of blank forms and hand it over. I mean, nobody does this with their checks. Why would you do it with separating families, for crying out loud? Anyway, MNC News Time is 3:31. Time to check out Masters Heating and Air Conditioning online at mastersheatcool.com. Masters gets there faster.
This is Michiana's breaking news and weather station.
9 years ago, I found out that my son was going to marry the love of his life. So far.
I was in like 3rd grade.
3rd grade? Yeah.
4th grade.
He was still slinging his poop, is what he was doing.
3rd.
Happy anniversary. Remember when 95.3 was a classic rock station back in the day? We kept that station, too, for a couple of years.
It's not John's birthday.
So why did she say it was John's birthday? So I didn't have a Facebook notification.
It's a glitch on the Facebook page.
Okay.
Because when they made the 953 MNC Facebook page, gotta use John's birthday. Well, because it's like through John's account.
Well, yeah. Well, and that's, so I called him up and I said, well, first thing, happy birthday. And I'm like, my Facebook didn't give a notification. And I remember there being like a weird thing that happened, but I couldn't remember what it was.
Right. So he didn't have a Facebook page, and they made a Facebook page for John to manage the 953 Facebook page. So they used the date that started. So it says it's John's birthday.
And so in 9 years, that hasn't been corrected. So that's almost as long as my zip picture that is still on the MNC page that has not been corrected.
Well, yeah.
Almost as long. Yeah, because he was like, well, and then he like he didn't bother finishing. I'm like, is it not his birthday? I'm like, yeah, whatever. I don't really care.
Because Dave came out.
Don't really care.
Happy birthday, John. He's like, it's not my birthday.
He should just roll with it, man. That's what he's got to do. Just roll with it. So my 6-year-old is doing a sleepover tonight.
Oh yeah, so it says it's 9-year anniversary JNLK, 9th anniversary of 953.
Yeah, and she like says it's his birthday in there. So
it's also Jay-Z's birthday. Happy birthday.
I know. I was like, okay, whatever. Happy birthday, John. I've been listening to Casey all this time. Damn.
because John asked me, where were you 9 years ago? I'm like, fourth grade?
Still not realizing I was alive.
Probably getting bullied by people. Funny little shit.
Funny. I mean, not funny, but funny.
Probably playing with my beagle. Had a beagle.
Nice. Beagles are fun dogs.
She was a rescue. She was 7 when we got her because the family was moving.
Uh-huh.
Couldn't bring dog. Couldn't bring her.
This is Who's Your Ag Today, and the
Interesting.
market report. USDA's May report.
I really liked her. We had her for 3 or 4 years after that.
Of corn, soybeans, and wheat
She had a really bad seizure.
U.S. corn numbers came in higher than the average of trade guesses.
She's a really good dog.
It happens.
I really like beagles.
Beagles are cool. They do have health. They do have health issues though.
I like beagles, labs, and
Nice.
September
What's up, Mike?
a penny lower, and beans corn 372 down 3/4. July beans 3.5 off at 809 1/4. August 815 3/4.
I wonder if that lady who tried to sexually assault me in my first year being here, I wonder if she still listens.
Lower down to 424 3/4. We did have higher cattle.
The one who stole my jacket.
112.45.
You know who you are.
And June lean hogs 89.67 down 32. I'm Andy Eubank. Today, Indiana's Farm Network.
So I guess I get to pick up my couch tomorrow. Because my 6-year-old won't be here because she's staying at a friend's house. And the floor people said, yeah, you can go ahead and bring it in there. Just don't slide it around. But you can like set the couch down. Now keep in mind the couch is in boxes, so I still have to assemble the couch. Which is going to be fun. What's up, Milk Dud?
Technology stocks posting the steepest declines today, led by a drop in shares of Apple and chip makers, which get a large portion of their revenue from.
You guys ever seen the meme of that dude who had the? I think they were Milk Dud. Maybe they were Whoppers. No, they were Whoppers. Where he had the Whoppers at the basketball game, and he was holding them up to the guy's head. And the guy's head looked like it was a Whopper. It was like a perfect match. You guys seen that? Perfect match. I didn't know Roland was listening to me back in the morning show days. Back in the day.
With a customized insurance solution for my busy florist company. I'm so glad we had this chance to encounter in this busy restaurant.
So all of that until you did the piano lessons. Oh, that reminds me. Bree's supposed to be getting like a keyboard or something here. We've got some advertiser who wants to do a trade with us, where Bree gets a keyboard. And she gets the lesson plan that's on the iPad. So you the iPad connects to the keyboard. And then she just follows. For those of you who have learned how to play piano online, you know, like the little droppy things, and it's kind of like Guitar Hero. So it's supposed to have that so she can learn how to play the piano with the iPad. And they were interested in doing that with her, which we were pretty stoked about. We haven't told her yet, but because she loves her music. Yeah, Matt Patrick. Matt Patrick was the guy before me. John covered for months when Matt Patrick left. So, really funny, right? So my old program director was in Kansas City. I almost went to Kansas City at a competitor station. John here made the offer before Kansas City. I move here. Matt Patrick goes to Houston. My old news girl goes to the same station as Matt Patrick in Houston. So the two of them are talking about me in Houston while I'm here. Then she ends up moving here with her now husband, who also I used to work with in Vegas, and they go to Terre Haute. So it's this weird Texas, Kansas City, Indiana connection that we have. Yeah, Matt passed away a couple of years ago. I think it's been 2.
It's no wonder that Afton is Michiana's most referred dental provider. Visit us on the web at afton.com or simply call 277-2220. Dentistry is all
My God. Oh, I'm supposed to log into the texting, huh? There are people who text me in the Friday
look like? It
bits.
starts with building Capital One cafes, warm, inviting places that feel nothing like a typical bank, where you can open an account with
Hells yeah!
in 5 minutes.
Sweet!
And find people ready to help you, not sell you. Welcome to Banking Reimagined. What's in your wallet?
For consumers only, offered by Capital One and a member FDIC. Cafes available in select
This got me a good little text message. Nice.
And now, a quick
What do I want to talk about now?
What do you want them to hear? Your
We'll talk about loot boxes later. I have Thermodyne coming up. Well, monkey.
For billing, dial 2. To speak with Greg Smith, dial
There's no contest. Put your best.
Oh, I gotta watch this this Chinese propaganda video on their social credit score. Totally gotta watch that. What the F?
Hey, good afternoon. Thank you for tuning in. News Talk 95.3, Michiana's news channel. I am your host, Casey Hendrickson. So yesterday, I told you I got a text message from a listener who said, hey, will Second Amendment Arms, can they help me with my heirloom Derringer looking to get it refurbed? And I said, I believe so. Paul does do that. I just don't know about that particular firearm, but so I just got a text message here about 20 minutes ago. It says, I took my heirloom Derringer to Paul at Second Amendment Arms today. He was able to reassemble it and make it fully functional. How awesome is that? That is awesome. So again, Second Amendment Arms is this amazing range for you that's indoors and out of the elements. They also have a great selection of firearms and knives, as well as accessories. And of course, they can work on your firearm as well. Clean it, maintain it, make it functional again. And for those of you who are looking to reload your own ammo, they have those supplies there also. And if you mention me, you get discounts on all of it. Go to secondamendmentarms.net for more information. All right, what do we have here? Well, okay. This I heard Rush talking about this, and I guess I'll bring it up. And if you want to weigh in on it, feel free to do so. 574-25-95-95-3. So Facebook co-founder Chris Hughes, he kind of attacked Mark Zuckerberg yesterday. He called on the federal government to break up enormous sections of the massive social media company, unquote. That's the article from the Daily Caller. The most problematic aspect of Facebook's power is Mark's unilateral control over speech, Hughes wrote in the New York Times. The company are the conversations of 2 billion people. That's what he wrote about his former college roommate, noting later that Mark's power is unprecedented and un-American. All right. Now, when I saw this initially yesterday, I was thinking, well, do you all remember that Mark Zuckerberg called for the government to regulate social media here recently? Do you remember that? I told you about it. It was a couple weeks ago. Mark Zuckerberg called for government regulation of his company just a couple of weeks ago. Then you've got the guy who helped found Facebook going out there and saying, we've got to stop Mark Zuckerberg. And then you have like Facebook's response today basically going, we welcome it. And you're just sitting here looking at it. I'm glad that Rush picked up on this, because Rush Limbaugh today said, well, of course he wants the regulation because that will prevent any competition. Exactly. By the way, net neutrality benefited Google, Facebook, Twitter, and Google properties, which would include YouTube. So those were all the companies that benefited from net neutrality. It was basically a giant marketing scheme which closed off the markets to competitors and allowed them to continue to thrive and also increase their revenues. That's what net neutrality did. It didn't protect anybody's internet. It actually put it in jeopardy with government regulations that were allowed, that had always failed when they tried to do it separately as a piece of legislation, but also failed in the courts, by the way. But also it basically just gave extra powers to those big Silicon Valley companies. And So you've got Facebook out there. They've never shied away from wanting government regulation. They've always said that they want government regulation. Now, he's talking about breaking them up. But there was a part of me that saw this and said, it's interesting timing that he's coming out and saying that the government needs to step in with Facebook after Facebook has said that they want the government to step in. And given his relationship with Mark Zuckerberg and everything else, I don't know. I found it a little bit strange. Rush kind of hinted at it today, but said that he was going to stop short of saying that this guy might be doing Mark Zuckerberg's dirty work for him. But I don't know. I am not entirely sold that this is an organic sort of a complaint against Mark Zuckerberg. It could very well be a ploy to go ahead and get people to look at this. But at the same time, there's going to be a lot of takers, especially on the right, because, well, they censor speech. That's absolutely what they do. And what if, theoretically, folks, what if censoring people was actually a ploy to get the government to come in and regulate social media and Facebook and things like that? What if that was actually their goal all along? Maybe they don't have anything against conservatives. Maybe they do. I don't know. But really, they're just looking at making enough of a stink that government's going to get involved for censorship, and then there's government regulation, which, of course, solidifies Facebook's place in the market, prevents competition, et cetera. Facebook has been bleeding subscribers. They've been, pilfering off into other social networks and things like that. My mom had actually sent me an article from May of 2016 that I had posted. So May 9th of 2016, I posted an article on my Facebook page. Former Facebook workers, we routinely suppressed conservative news. And I had forgotten that I even posted that. And my mom found it, I guess, in her Facebook memories and reshared it again today. So this has been going on quite a bit, quite a long time. So keep an eye on this stuff. Elizabeth Warren has kind of campaigned on it. She wants to break up the big tech companies, and we'll see. But ultimately, when you have a monopoly, not that Facebook's a monopoly, but when you do have a monopoly and you force them to break up into multiple companies, it doesn't actually help anybody out. Okay, it just usually ends up benefiting that company anyway. So be real interesting to see how this plays out. So keep an eye on it. Just because it does affect your freedom, it does affect the way that you handle things on the internet, and it could very well have a negative impact. Got more coming up. News Talk 95.3, Michiana's news channel.
Get breaking news text alerts direct to your smartphone.
Weather served up by the Prime Table restaurant in Niles. Does your family or group eat regularly for breakfast, lunch, or dinner? Just call I'm exhausted. For your next gathering. It's a typical Friday. It's just a bunch of little crap all over the place. Nothing really great. Patchy Frost. Sounds like a superhero.
Otherwise, for your Saturday, 62 degrees, partly cloudy to mostly cloudy skies. We'll have a chance for a few showers late in the day, mainly after 8 o'clock in the evening. And then for Mother's Day itself, a couple morning showers possible. Otherwise, a high.
It's gonna rain on Mother's Day.
We're still in the low 60s for Monday with a chance for a quick isolated shower in the morning. We will see more and more sunshine as we head throughout the rest of the day. In the ABC 57 Weather Center, I'm meteorologist.
Oh. What's everybody doing for the weekend? Working. Sure, I'll be doing stuff for the new place.
I've been a painter all my life. I think it's just in my blood. My grandpa was a painter. My great-grandfather, when he came across the ocean, listed himself as a painter.
Somebody homebrewed it.
He's been a painter for a lot of his life, and now I'm a painter. I love to paint. I really do. People are not a big fan of having their house torqued for a long period of time.
Yeah, I haven't watched Crowder in a long time. And a part of that's I haven't had the internet for a month. But with that said, okay, I got a couple of shout outs for Comcast. So I called Comcast to get my internet turned on at the place that we're going to be moving into. We set that up, and the lady lowered my price. She basically had said, we're just going to treat you as a new customer because it gives you a new account number. So I got like $30 off per month, and for 12 months, and then it jumps back up to its normal rate. But so yeah, there was that, and then they gave me a credit for the past 5 weeks that I haven't been able to use the service. So looks like Comcast is actually trying to have good customer service lately, huh? You gonna mow the grass? Gonna actually mow the grass this weekend, huh? Oh, your kids in Crenshaw's district? Lucky. I wish Crenshaw was my congressperson. That dude is awesome sauce. Yep. Nice. Good for him.
There's some taco around town. Monterey Mexican Bar and Grill's menu was getting an upgrade.
Mm-hmm.
Remember early bird gets the breakfast burrito? Breakfast is now served 7 a.m. to 2 p.m. daily at your favorite Mexican Monterey Mexican Bar and Grill. Monterey's breakfast menu.
I was so hungry and I had lunch, and now I feel like I'm gonna die.
Fresh daily to keep you coming back week after week. Try Mexican and American breakfast classics with some new items mixed in alongside your favorite hot and cold breakfast beverages with 3 alcoholic options to choose.
Come on, commercials. I want to do my show.
Skillets, the combos, and omelets.
A minute?
I'm at 31.
Can I quit?
No.
Damn. You can do the show, right?
No, I cannot.
Are you in dire need of a
You sure about that?
Does your landscaping need a pick-me-up?
Let's talk about the new Sonic movie, man. So
I will do
that meme was funny
my
as hell.
version of the Let me just pull up all the nerdies.
Yep. What's up, Anthony? How you doing?
They're located just east of State Road 15, New Paris. Find them on the web at neps.com.
At Indian Motorcycle, we've always
Paula thinks I'm boring.
It takes craft
Doesn't like listening to me just talk.
and working to let your best.
He's talking about Crenshaw, but I'm gonna take it personally
1901, we built
because I am Dan Crenshaw. We are all Dan Crenshaw.
Visit Elkhart Indian Motorcycle on Cassopolis Street in Elkhart today.
Commie Joe in the afternoon. Nice title. CJ in midday. Ooh, damn. And good afternoon. Thank you for tuning in. News Talk 95.3, Michiana's news channel. I am your host, Casey Hendrickson. All right, so here's the deal. I am on FEMA's website right now, okay? Now, FEMA has a 3-page document of critical documents that you should protect in case of an emergency. They have household identification, so you got like your birth, your marriage, divorce certificates. You definitely want to keep those divorce certificates. You don't want anybody claiming they're still married to you. Adoption, child custody paperwork, your passport, driver's license, Social Security, green card, military service identification, any pet ownership records you might have, because people do get separated from their animals all the time. Then, of course, you have your financial and legal documents, your lease and rental agreements, mortgage, home equity line of credits, your deeds, your vehicle information, all of this stuff, right? So it's a whole giant list, including medical and all of that. Now, the reason that I'm pointing this out to you is
FEMA mentions what these documents are, that these are the important documents for you to keep and to protect because you will need them in various circumstances where there's a disaster, okay? Part of it could be getting benefits. Part of it could be identifying who your children are with the legal ability to go ahead and take your kids back if you get separated, or your animals or anything of that nature. And if your home is destroyed and your documents are destroyed and you don't have access to any of those documents, that can be an impossibility. Not with a data bunker. If you have a data bunker, all of those critical documents and files are right there on a literal black box, okay? This is the same black box you get on trains and planes that is built right here in Elkhart with clean electronics, right here in the U.S. So this is the only thing that you're going to need to protect those critical documents. So have the paper backups, even have some thumb drive ones and CDs or DVDs, whatever, have those, but you need copies of those on your data bunker. And the reason for that is if there's a house fire, all those other files are destroyed, not the data bunker. It's fireproof. So if you go to databunker1.com, you can take a look at all of the amazing stress tests they put the data bunker on, including blowing it up with a nuclear bomb. Well, okay, nuclear EMP. So however they accumulated the nuclear EMP, I will let them explain to you. But go to databunker1.com. Use the coupon code Casey. You're going to save yourself 15%. Pick the color you want. Get your data bunker today. All right. Elkhart. Let's talk about Elkhart real quick via California. So Elkhart just defeated the referendum. Okay. Now, for those of you who do not know, Elkhart Community Schools is asking for more money. However, Elkhart Community Schools is an extremely well-funded school district. Okay. They're telling everybody they're not well-funded. That wasn't true. Elkhart Community Schools gets over $13,700 per student. That is a lot of money. It is more than $2,000 more than the national average. It is $4,000 more than the Indiana average. All right. They would compare themselves to Penn Harris Madison, but Penn Harris Madison had less funding per pupil than they did. So they were trying to say, well, look at Penn Harris pays their teachers a lot more. Yeah, but how do they do that? Because they get less money per kid. So how is it that they pay their teachers so much more than Elkhart Community Schools? And that's really a question that the teachers who work for Elkhart, who are rightfully, I think, complaining about their pay, at least in some departments, because some of you, I've seen your salaries. They're nice, very, very nice. But for a lot, it's not great. And if you are wondering why it is that teachers nearby get paid more than you, and that's not the case for all districts nearby, maybe you should ask why it is that school districts surrounding you that get less funding pay their teachers more. I think it's a worthy question for you to ask the administration. Now, with that said, even though they're well-funded, they were asking for more money, and they were basically saying that if you give us more money, we'll give you better results, which, of course, never happens in the entire history of all education. Getting more money does not yield better results. Let me give you a prime example. There's a new study that came out of California's K-12 performance. Okay. Now, the reason I'm bringing this up is just as a cautionary tale, because this is the same story that is used. They basically, Elkhart Community Schools made the same arguments that every school system makes when they're trying to get more money from the taxpayer. And that is teachers don't get paid anything. It's the hardest job in the world. And they basically are putting their life at risk every single day. And if you greedy homeowners would just pay your fair share, our kids would have a good education, that sort of thing, right? It's the same thing that they say everywhere. But every time they get more money, it doesn't improve performance. So in California, there's a recent study that was done. Well, I should say an analysis, not a study. Since 2011, in California's K-12, since 2011, there has been a 60% spending increase. 60%. Guess how much increase in output and performance California's K-12 educational system has increased? 0. Didn't have any improvement. So they spent 60% more and they got no improvement. That seems like a bad investment, ladies and gentlemen, doesn't it? And like I said, a lot of this is not going to be because of the teachers and things like that in the classroom. Some of it's going to be, look, you're in the wrong neighborhood, okay? You're in some neighborhoods where the family atmosphere in the neighborhood is not the best for the students, And it's just going to be impossible in most scenarios for the schools to be able to overcome that. That's not the school's fault. It's not the teacher's fault. But throwing more money at the school isn't going to fix that problem either. There's no way to fix it through the school. So when people say, if you just gave us more money, we would give you better results, it never comes to fruition in education, because usually what is happening is that lack of results has nothing to do with the school. Sometimes it does, but usually it's a factor that's outside of the school that the school can't overcome. Doesn't matter how much money you give them. DC had similar results several years ago. Washington, DC was getting a ton of money. They still are, by the way, and they weren't improving performance. And it took somebody to come in and say, hey, there's a real issue here. It's not the money. Let's stop throwing money at it. And they changed their system around. They started seeing improvements. Florida used to be this way. Florida changed their educational system, and they got much better results when they stopped focusing on simply throwing money at the same problem, assuming that more money would mean that they were going to have better results. So a cautionary tale right after Elkhart defeated the referendum that a 60% spending increase in California since 2011 has yielded zero benefits. But those taxpayers are spending 60% more, and yet they're not getting a return on their investment. Elkhart would have been the exact same scenario. All right, folks, we got more coming up. Newstalk 95.3, Michiana's news channel.
WTRC FM and HD1, Niles, South Bend, Elkhart.
Yep. 60%. So, no joke, in 2011, guess who told China he was going to tax them 25%? Donald Trump. Wasn't even running for president. He was giving a speech, and he said, I believe the actual quote was, I would tell them, look, you mother effers, we're going to tax you 25%. That's exactly what he did. The guy keeps promises that he made years ago. It's amazing.
Now, sources are telling us that the Treasury Secretary, Stephen Mnuchin, told Vice Premier Liu He today that they have about 4 weeks before those tariffs go into effect. President Trump, a short time ago, candid and constructive.
See, this is another thing that people have to realize. So I'm seeing people post that their prices are going up and things like that to attack Trump. Here's the deal. The prices are only going up because of speculation. The prices are not actually going up because it costs that business more money. Because the tariffs aren't even in place yet. And they won't be in place for some time. And it's only a 3% increase over the tariffs that they have now. So when you run onto social media and you tell everybody that you're going to pay for these tariffs and Trump is everybody, and if you order, I saw somebody today that said if you order after May 17th, you're going to get the new tariff prices. Okay, but the tariffs won't be in effect next week. So you're charging people the new price with they said it was a 15% increase in price, but the tariff wasn't a 15% increase. So they're charging you a percentage that is much higher than the tariff 3 weeks before the tariff is even going into effect. So it's not costing them that. So there's some real interesting speculation that is also happening. So really, the tariffs themselves don't do the damage. Predatory business practices do the biggest damage. Do-ba-do-ba-do. Do-ba-do-ba-do-do-do-do. Oh, vegan diet parents. God, I hate vegan diet parents. Oh my God, people who, they feed their animals vegan diets and crap.
You know who's worse than that, though? People who tattoo their dogs.
Oh, yeah. I'd rather have a tattooed dog than a spray-painted dog, though. Toughens the dog up.
At least one student was
They do. They use it as an excuse to raise prices. Like I said, I saw, and this was a listener, and they were just passing on the information from the company that I think they work at. But they were saying that if you order, I believe it was after May 17th, you were going to get the new 15% higher price. But their rates didn't go up 15%, and the tariff wasn't even in effect. Remember, this is all a negotiation tactic. The U.S. has said that if China agrees to a deal before then, the tariffs will never even go into effect. So if we have a deal this weekend, there won't be any tariff increase. But people are raising their prices? You're supposed to raise your prices by passing on what it costs you to your customers, not to preemptively. It's not robbing because the market sets the price, and I'm not going to say that, but it's predatory. Oh, I want to take a nap so bad.
It's even easier to plan your week with radio's only 5-day forecast at 16 afternoons. News Talk 95.3, Michiana's news channel, your breaking news and weather station.
Breaking news and weather station.
That's funny. So I have found a website.
Yes.
I write articles for D&D.
Okay.
And they have a section called The Sending Stone, where it's just like onion headlines, D&D, and then they write like actual stories if they were in the D&D world.
Interesting.
It's actually really funny. Like, here's one. Non-player character gets third accent.
That's funny. What's up, Tracy? Oh, God. What is Dean doing? Dean's all angry. I got to see this. He was in a good mood earlier.
Hi, I'm Jay Farner, CEO of Quicken Loans, America's largest mortgage lender. Let's talk credit card debt for a minute. If
He's got a point.
Too much of it, you're not alone. The average household in the U.S. carries over 8.
Congratulations, Janet. Just became a U.S. citizen. Cool.
Quickly and easily put some of the equity in.
Is Janet in our board, or is it just somebody that we know of?
A great way to take cash out is with our 30-year.
Either way, congratulations and welcome to the U.S. Even though you've been here for some time, but still, it's official now.
800 Quicken to learn how taking cash out with a 30-year fixed mortgage might be the right.
So who is she? Is she just a friend of yours or what? Janet Reno. No, we reject Janet Reno. We don't want Janet Reno anymore. Can we trade her? Can she play for somebody else's team, please? She's your friend. We're driving back now. Awesome. Here we go.
This channel.
And good afternoon. Thank you for tuning in. News Talk 95.3, Michiana's news channel. I am your host, Casey Hendrickson. Do want to thank our sponsors, Second Amendment Arms and Range, located in New Carlisle, Indiana. And, of course, you mentioned me, get half off your range time. Go to secondamendmentarms.net for more information. So before I answer some of your questions via the texting, a friend of mine, Tracy, who's watching on twitch.tv/Casey the host, said, can you tell Janet, congratulations, she just became a U.S. citizen. So, Janet, congratulations, and it is an honor and a pleasure both to have you now as one of us, even though she's been in the country for some time, but still, it's official now. It's awesome. So, congratulations, good for you, and all the best. 574-25-95-95-3. That is 25-95-953. All right, Ash Show, a Sydney couple. I wanted to talk about this a couple of days ago, and for some reason it just got buried in my show prep, and then this update happened, so I was reminded of it. A Sydney couple who fed their children a vegan diet were arrested a year ago after their youngest child suffered a seizure. The couple in court on Thursday now face up to 5 years in jail. This is the okay, this is the thing. You know that guy that was walking around eating was eating a squirrel? I gotta figure out what that guy was eating. He was eating something. He was eating a raw animal at a vegan gathering, and he was wearing the shirt that says veganism is malnutrition. And he's right, okay? It's not healthy. Now, there's a lot of people that go from having a very unhealthy lifestyle who then go vegan and they lose some weight and they feel a heck of a lot better. And that's because they're now focused on actually monitoring what they eat. People who eat all meat and don't eat any vegetables are also very healthy people. The difference is that people who are on a carnivore diet don't need supplements to survive. Vegans do. It's not healthy. There is a serious malnutrition component to that diet. Now, again, if you choose to live your life that way, okay, live your life that way. And everybody's physiology is different, so some people's physiology is going to react better to it than others, okay? But in general, it's not good for you. So some people, what they do is they will cycle on their vegan diet and they'll cycle off and have limited meat consumption, and then they will cycle back on. That tends to be the best way to maintain your vegetarian diet anyway, not vegan. But so it's not good for you. Okay, it's just not. But live your life the way that you want to live your life. The issue that people have is that everywhere vegans go, they just assume that they're right and everybody else is wrong, in spite of the fact that they have to take pills to not die. When the child had her seizure and emergency services were called, doctors discovered the 20-month-old was severely malnourished, had no teeth, and suffered from rickets. She also had not been vaccinated or taken to the doctor since she was born, nor had she received a birth certificate or a Medicare number. The Center for Disease Control suggests that children around the baby girl's age should weigh around 17 to 30 pounds. She weighed 11. That's less than what a 3-month-old should weigh. She was 20 months. Neither the father nor mother are named in news reports for legal reasons. This is Australia now. The Australian news outlet news.com.au reviewed court documents which showed the parents fed their child 1 cup of oats with rice milk and half a banana in the morning and a piece of toast with jam or peanut butter for lunch. For dinner, the mother told the courts that she would serve the baby tofu, rice, or potatoes. But since her daughter was a fussy eater, she might just eat oats for dinner as well. This diet resulted in severe deficiencies in nutrients across the board for the infant, including a lack of calcium, phosphate, vitamin B12, vitamin A, iron, and zinc, according to local news. Her levels of vitamin D, which can cause bone disease if found to be too low, were undetectable. They couldn't detect any vitamin D in this kid at all. The calcium, phosphorus, and vitamin D deficiencies led to rickets, which weakens the bones. Keep in mind, this is a 20-month-old kid dealing with bone disease now. Why? Because the parents are twisted. That's why. The mother's attorney claims in court documents that she was severely depressed after the child's birth, which may be true. That does happen. The attorney claims that the woman suspected the girl's father was cheating on her and questioned her skills as a mother. So naturally, you feed your kid a vegan diet. The attorney claimed that the mother wouldn't even leave the house to get groceries. So bleeping what? What does that have to do with the diet you're feeding your kid? Okay? I get not being emotionally there. A psychologist disputed these claims, by the way, telling the court on Thursday that medical records showed no evidence of the depression, and her own interview with the mother revealed otherwise. The psychologist, Dr. Yvonne Skinner, said that the mom had actually bonded with her child and enjoyed spending time with her. So basically, what the mom's attorney is saying is she had postpartum depression. And as a result of her having postpartum depression, she really wasn't taking care of the kid. That's the defense now. Not vegan diet is a healthy diet, and we thought it was going to be healthy. What they should be doing, actually, is they should be making claims that the vegan industry has misled and misinformed them into malnourishing their kid because they were misled into believing that this was a healthy lifestyle for anybody of any age to eat a diet of this type. That's what they should be doing. And then you can plead ignorance, okay, at that point. But pretending that you had postpartum depression and you weren't taking care of your kid, that is not going to fly, especially when you had a meeting with a psychiatrist who said, no, she seemed pretty darn happy to me. An attorney for the girl's father said that the accused man was not vegan nor anti-vaccination, but he was being subjected to a witch hunt based on that belief. The attorney for the man claimed that his client was essentially helpless to save the child. Oh. The mother dictated her care. Okay. So at what point do you look at your kid and realize that there's something wrong and perhaps maybe get the kid to a doctor? This is Australia after all. Okay. So they have access to doctors. The attorney said that the father was the family's sole provider, did everything from cooking to driving to shopping. Okay, so the attorney said the father was the family's sole provider and did everything. Now, his attorney says the dad did the cooking. So if the dad did the cooking, how can the dad claim that the kid was malnourished because the mom controlled the caregiving of the kid, including the diet? He's the one that cooked the food. Right? Am I missing something? Or did he cook all of the food except for the food that fed his kid? I'm missing something here, right? Judge Sarah Huggett of Downing Center Court in Sydney dismissed the attorney's claims, instead reprimanding the father because he is an educated man who could have picked her up and taken her to a doctor. She said that he should have noticed something was wrong because the child at 20 months couldn't walk or talk and wasn't hitting any milestones. Now, there are cases, ladies and gentlemen, where abuse happens and a parent doesn't notice it because they're out of the house all the time. And so they think that there's maybe a disease, okay? Maybe there is some medication being administered and the kid is not getting better and that sort of thing. But really, this is actually abuse that has been happening. But the parent isn't home to see that. They think their kid's sick. They've got prescription pills coming into the house and their kid has been diagnosed with stuff. So things like that do happen. This isn't that case. This is just the kid is not meeting milestones and dad doesn't seem bothered by this in any way, shape, or form. I'm trying to imagine myself, even as a new parent, because I know that I was this way with my first daughter when she wasn't when she wasn't doing things. And I was like, is she supposed to be doing this stuff now? And then my wife would be like, no, she's okay in this time period. Then it would be concerned. She's actually right on schedule. And so I was constantly doing those things as a dad, mostly because, you want your kid to be a superhero and have special abilities and things like that when they're 3 months old. But this guy seemed completely unconcerned with all of that. So facing 5 years in prison. And basically, he's arguing that it was the mom's fault, and the mom is arguing that it was postpartum depression. But yet he cooked all of the food, and it's just one of the most amazing things. Where's those pre-signed letters from the judges to go ahead and take kids away from their parents when you need them, like we talked about in Kentucky earlier? Hey, you're 45 minutes away from open lines. We got those coming up on Newstalk 95.3, Michiana's news channel.
Casey Hendrickson.
Newstalk 95.3, Michiana's news channel.
News channel, would you like to talk to Casey?
Is the dad obese? Oh my God.
That's what you're talking about, please.
25 years of exceptional food, tremendous service, and great people.
The vegan parents and their children. Okay. Can I get your first name, please? Nathan? All right, I will try to get you on there. Nice haul.
The vegan diet is a great diet and it's super healthy, and I feel super good on it. You're dying. You're slowly killing yourself. I haven't told my PETA stories in a while.
Your penis stories?
I haven't told those either. I am due. Dude, this commercial. Don't storm chase from home. You can't. Every time I hear it, I keep thinking that I mishear it, and I don't think I'm mishearing it.
You can't keep a secret from your mother.
Okay, shoulder only. Nothing on the face or anything like that. Shoulder only. I have been very, very lucky. So haven't had any of the kids do any of the major vomit on the face or anything like that.
The Prime Table is the perfect blend of casual atmosphere and great food. So here's your plan for Mother's Day. Take Mom to the Prime Table. Maybe for breakfast for one of the Prime Table's world famous outlets.
Vegan food.
The fact is, whatever she orders for breakfast will be fantastic. And it's served all day. If you can't get Mom out for breakfast, then lunch or dinner at the Prime Table is equally as fabulous.
Anna Upton wants to be my friend. Is Anna Upton? Is she related to Kate? You related to Kate? No, not related to Kate. Well, let me tell you all about Anna Upton. She's in Niles, Michigan. She started a new job at Self-Employed 21 minutes ago. And then 16 minutes ago, she updated her profile picture to be one of those stupid dog ear pictures that you get with the Snapchat filter. And then 15 minutes ago, she uploaded her picture with the side by side of the same exact picture, not even mirror, just the side by side of the same exact picture with the yellow filter on there. She's very attractive. So whoever the real girl is who's being catfished right now is very attractive. And this Anna Upton lady is stealing her identity.
She might have actually just started her new job.
Congratulations on your new self-employed job, Anna. Best of luck on looking pretty. Oh, Mike, is she good looking? She is. She's very good looking. She looks like she's like maybe 18 or 19 years old, though. She's a kid. So it's... Oh, my God. The best ones are the ones where I get those friend requests from the cam girls, and I have people on my friends list who have accepted the request because it shows that you have so many mutual friends. And I always look at who those people are and I immediately unfriend them. Like, if you're that stupid, I want nothing to do with you. Nothing to do with you at all.
Almost seem magical. Plants so healthy, easy to embed, and alive with color that your plant will always look like the sun is shining on it. Vite Greenhouses is where your beautiful gardens begin.
I just ruined it for you. Sorry. Oh my God. They come in waves. It's like they'll leave me alone for a while, and then all of a sudden I just get a rash of them for a week or two.
Beautiful gardens begin. 2601 Red Wet Trail, a quick trip from South Bend, Mishawaka, Elkhart, and Granger. Open for the season and providing beauty for your yard.
Looking for a cool way to get a new AC or furnace without breaking the bank?
Yeah, my mom's sharing old videos of me with the baby face, and people are liking the photos and videos and crap.
Huh.
AC or furnace as low as $99 a month and no additional charges ever. Call BW Cook Service Experts today.
Tyra Banks is on the cover.
She is. In a heavily photoshopped picture. Because she don't look like that anymore.
But
she's a beautiful woman, don't get me wrong, but she does not look like that anymore.
Kate Upton too.
We were. Kate Upton still looks amazing, though. Tyra Banks has some rough years. She's a weight gainer. She goes up and down, up and down, up and down. But, yeah, I saw that picture, and I was like, wow, that's a really good shot. She looks fantastic. And, you know, I was like, whoever did the Photoshop was really good at their job. And you would have to be if you work at Sports Illustrated. New Etsy job. Maybe they're doing legitimate thought research. I never thought of that. Possible. Ooh, a lot of friend requests from India. They might need a green card, man. Maybe you should go for it. You brought your own. Yay, two meat mountains right in front of her. Dean, sweet. And good afternoon. Thank you for tuning in. News Talk 95.3, Michiana's news channel. A little over half an hour until we have open lines. Wow, the show's going quick. We're almost halfway through this bad boy.
574-2595, 95.3. That is 2595-953. Back to the phone lines we go. Nathan, welcome to the program.
Hi.
Hi there.
Am I speaking with...
Yeah, you're on the air, man. Go ahead.
Oh, okay. So one thing is that a lack of vitamin D is not necessarily due to malnutrition. It's primarily gained through exposure to sunlight.
Well, I would assume if you're not feeding your kid, you're probably not taking them outside either.
Right, but it's well known that the main source of vitamin D is from sunlight.
Right.
So it's not because of malnutrition, it's because the kid's not going outside.
Or it could be lack of nutrition too. I mean, the kid developed rickets as a result of. I mean, that was one of the lacks of nutrients that was in there. So they lumped it into everything else that was on
but you get it from sunlight. That's the main source of vitamin D.
Okay, but if you're malnourished, what are you trying to defend them?
What was that?
Are you trying to defend them or something, or?
No, I'm just trying to. Well,
I mean, because you can get vitamin D from food.
that.
No,
I'm not trying to defend them.
Okay.
I mean, I should take the kid outside sometimes. That's what I'm saying.
Well, he wouldn't survive because he hasn't been fed anything.
Feeding him correctly.
Yeah, it's. I mean, because you can get vitamin D from food and your nutrients in your diet as well. So when they were registering the bones, they weren't finding any vitamin D in the bones.
Right, but it's well known that the main source of vitamin D for human beings is from sunlight.
I understand what you're trying to say, but you can still get your vitamin D with nutrients, and the kid wasn't getting any.
Yes, but I mean, I'm saying that it's not his diet that's necessarily the problem. It's that they're not taking him outside.
So the lack of all of the other nutrients, was that because he didn't go outside too, or was that the diet?
What other nutrients was he lacking?
All of them.
But why was
I mean, there was no iron, there was no calcium, there was no B12s, there was nothing. The levels of, I believe it was the vitamin D that they said were undetectable in the bones. Is that the one that they said were undetectable? Okay, so the vitamin D was undetectable in the bones when they were testing the kid, and that's what developed. Was part of what developed the rickets. So they were 13 pounds underweight for average. There's a 20-month-old kid who weighed the weight of a 3-month-old kid.
Yeah, I mean, that seems more like, I mean, if you're lacking vitamin D, like that almost seems more like they were keeping him inside and not feeding him well.
Yeah.
If he was lacking other vitamins.
Yeah, he was like, that's just it. They were feeding the kid oats and a banana. That was it.
But no, I mean, like lacking vitamin D means you weren't going outside at all.
I understand what you're saying, but you can also get vitamin D from your diet. I understand what you're saying, that exposure to sunlight also gets you your vitamin D, but you can also get it from your diet. I get what you're what you're saying. It's just
if
that
you don't have vitamin D at all, then that means you're not going outside.
Oh, maybe, but that's the least of the kid's problems. The biggest problem is the parents are starving the kid to death because they're trying to promote a vegan diet that is not healthy, especially for a kid.
Yeah, I mean, there's probably two problems here. Like they weren't taking him outside, but then they weren't feeding him.
Well, I would say the two problems are mom and dad.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. I mean, because clearly they were.
I agree with that.
Yeah, they were clearly abusing their kid. I don't think they were trying to. I just think they were legitimately naive about proper diet. But this is the world we live in, because everybody tells you something's healthy when it's not. And even the government gets it wrong. The food pyramid is an example I use all the time. The government tells you, hey, use the food pyramid, and then people get diabetes, and they wonder why.
Yeah, it just seems like rather severe abuse. It's like they weren't letting the kid outside, and they weren't feeding him.
Exactly. All right, man. Appreciate the call. Thank you much.
Okay, thanks.
All right. I mean, they should have been giving the kids steak. That's what they should have been doing. Liz, welcome to the program.
Yeah, that guy is not too sure what he's talking about. He thinks that you can get all vitamin D only from the sun. You get vitamin D in foods. Plus, you get vitamin D. In order for the body to use the vitamin D and calcium and that stuff, you need to have them in combination. So if you have one item separate, the body does not use it. You need vitamin C, calcium, vitamin D all together.
Yeah, I was trying to be polite because I've been in a relatively decent mood today, and it's rare.
I know.
But okay, so what foods do you get vitamin D from? Because you know exactly what you're talking about this, Liz.
You can get vitamin D from some leafy vegetables, not from what they were giving them.
Yeah.
But from some leafy vegetables, you can get vitamin D from like milk. It's added to milk products.
Correct.
And also,
I believe some milk
B12,
advertises that it's a source of vitamin D, right?
Vitamin B12 from animal foods.
Yeah,
The
especially
only source of vitamin D is animal food. So for people who are vegan, or especially vegetarian can possibly be a little bit nutritious, but they have to take supplements, like you said.
Right. Yeah, and there's nothing wrong with that.
Diet, you need to take supplements because nutrients are depleted in the soil because there's not enough. I mean, the soil around everything is depleted from as many nutrients as it was 200 years ago. But you need to have a vitamin B12 shot or take it under your tongue for the body to absorb it.
Yeah, and I know plenty of vegans that have said, look, morally I can't get past the whole killing animals thing, and so I take the supplements, I take all of these extra things so I can have an easy conscience, and I'm okay with that. Live your life the way you want to live. But they at least acknowledge and understand that they're not getting the nutrients they're supposed to get, and they're making steps.
They understand they're not getting it, and they take the supplements, or they take other things. Now, also, I don't like the way animals are treated. However, I do eat meat. Yeah. What I do is I try to eat most of my meat from like grass-fed beef and from open-range chickens, so that they're treated not as. I mean, you can see how chickens are treated. They're really treated cruelly in big farms.
And here's the thing, because we've obviously, being in farm country, I've been exposed to a lot of this. A lot of the propaganda against meat farmers is not true. There are some farms that certainly do that. But I also try to fight grass-fed and free-range chickens as much as I possibly can. It's just more sporting to kill them, if you ask me. But it's everybody has their thing, and that's okay. But when you're a parent and you've got a little baby there, you had better take care of it. You're the one that brought it in there.
I mean, some people think they can have these specialized diets with the little babies, and you cannot. You need to have them. They need to have a wide variety of food so they can grow. When you're an adult, I mean, I watch my diet now because I ate crappy when I was younger. All right,
right,
fine.
Right, yeah.
But also, if you want to talk about the cruelty thing, hunters who are good hunters are the best ones, because if one shot kills the deer, that's fine.
Absolutely.
But the thing is, I mean, animals know when other animals are being killed.
Well, that's why you hunt with an AR-15. You can shoot them 50 times, and then you're guaranteed a quick kill, Liz.
Well,
okay, I'm just messing with you, but I'm actually out of time. I got to roll. I have to bounce out of here.
But like, I don't eat veal because of the way calves are treated.
Veal is so baby cow is so tender and so juicy, Liz. You should try it.
Yeah, but I won't because plus I heard how they harvest catfish. I know you got to go.
I know, I do, I really do, Liz. I appreciate it. Thank you so much. I'm just messing with you. Yeah, fatty fish is a great source of vitamin D, and of course dairy's a huge one. We got more coming up. MNC News Time is 4:32. Time to check out Masters Heating and Air Conditioning online at mastersheatcool.com. Masters gets there faster.
This is Michiana's breaking news.
Cod eggs. Did I start the flat Earth thing early? Oh, damn it! What the hell? Damn it! What is going on? Oh my! I'll be right back. What? Vegan. Not vegan. Vegan. They're vegan. That guy. Good. Is their store brand. They were $1.69 at Target, and they are just as good, if not better, than Chewy Chips Ahoy. They're just about the same. They're really, really close. Like, what was he seemed like a guy who wanted to defend a vegetarian diet. What are you doing, man? Like, the kid had no nutrients in his system. Yes, you can absolutely get vitamin D from the sun, but you have to have it in your diet. It's vitamin, not really D milk. It's not the sun, so it's not really D. I'm going to start a milk company that says get the D. Milk. Ladies will buy it. They'll eat it up. Right, ladies? They'll be in their little soccer mom groups. They'll be like, I gotta go to the store to get the D. It's only 10% Kona, but it's only 10% Kona, but it'll do. It'll do, babe. It'll do.
Served up by the Prime Table. Give your mom a real treat. Let Prime Table Restaurant in Niles do cooking. Large parties welcome. Call and make your reservations for Mother's Day today.
Now, Book Comfort Experts, your air conditioning professionals' first warning for you.
Mostly clear this evening, so temperatures will fall quickly into the lower 40s, ending up in the upper 30s by early Saturday morning. There could be a little patchy frost, but for many, it's not going to happen. Partly cloudy on Saturday with a high of 60. Chance of showers returns on Mother's Day. In the ABC 57 First Warning Neighborhood Weather Center, I'm Chief Meteorologist Tom Coons.
News protected by ZX Gun, your single source for personal protection. Visit them on 3rd Street in Goshen and check out their full line of quality handguns, shotguns, rifles, accessories, and more. What if this was a loved one?
911. Someone's trying to break into my home. They're right at the front door. We're notifying the authorities. I'll stay on the line with you until they arrive. What'll that do?
Gun is your single source for personal protection. Stopping today for the largest selection of handguns, AR rifles, ammunition, accessories, and personal protection solutions. Over 2,000 guns in stock today with the best prices, guaranteed. CX Gun, located in downtown Goshen, corner of US 3 and Visit them online at cxgun.com. Protect yourself and loved ones today at CX Gun.
Hi, I'm Dr. Terrence Mahoney. For over 30 years, we've been helping patients throughout Michiana improve the appearance and function of their teeth. Now it's your turn. Join me and our staff at Mahoney Family Dentistry for our Denture and Implant Information Night, Wednesday, May 15th. You can discover if dentures or implants are the answer to your dental problems. Attend our Denture and Implant Information Night at Mahoney Family Dentistry, Wednesday, May 15th. Seating is limited, so reserve your seat right away by visiting MahoneyDDS.com.
The Fox Business Report, powered by Home Comfort Experts, plumbing, heating, and cooling. Keep your hard-working AC running smooth with a tune-up today. Call 255-4600.
By the way, pray for us. Cluck is on our culture team. Did you see that?
Our culture team?
Yeah, the culture team that we founded about Federated Media culture. To foster culture. And Cluck is on.
Of Jason Lee and Cluck.
Yes. He is on the team. Now, Zach is going to balance him out, but Cluck is on the team.
Who else is
I was
on our
like,
culture
pray,
team?
pray for us. Let me pull it up. Oh my. Yeah, because they're doing like these culture meetings and things like that, and they're trying to have like a committee for like new employees and just really kind of work on inter-company culture. So basically, it's student government that doesn't do anything.
They're the ones that have to plan the reunion in 20 years.
Exactly.
The reunion I'm probably not going to go to.
The South Bend Culture Committee is as follows: Liz Goshert, Francine Whitford, Zach Miller, Warren Cluck, Sunita Davis, and Esther Especia. So, and it's like, of all of the names that don't belong there, there are two in the building who do not belong. Okay, 3 people in the building who do not belong on that list. I'm one of them. Cluck is the other, and John is the third. Like, we've got no business in the culture committee at all. Oh, man. I saw that and I was like, Warren? Really? Oh, man. Oh, that cone is good. That's good coffee.
Longest running radio morning show radio.
Only because I wasn't here. Only because I wasn't here.
Hot and cold favorites from Martin's Famous Deli, balloon bouquets and table arrangements, or do it yourself with ready-to-cook selections from the meat department.
I am the longest running employee of MNC besides John.
So call or go online now.
Carl was here first, but Carl quit and left. Doesn't count.
Carl left.
Doesn't count. He's a quitter. At least 5 years. I mean, at least. Everybody's just too lazy to erase it. You know what I should do is I should just buy a small little swatch, which costs like $2, of the dry erase vinyl wrap, and wrap over it. Just make it look like I erased it, just to see what would happen reaction-wise. Because I bet he would be really sad. I have a feeling that that would hurt his feelings tremendously.
I feel like a lot of people would be sad.
Oh, speaking of getting my belly, my wife had the same thought as me last week. I pulled through my brain and remembered a couple of scenes in the movie and realized it would be a bad idea. My wife did not, and she thought, Austin Powers will be okay for the kids.
No.
And she sent me a message, and she goes, Austin Powers is not okay for the kids. I was like, yeah, I know. She goes, please don't ask what a penis pump is. Please don't.
Why?
She just didn't remember. It's been so long since we've seen it.
I've never seen it. I know.
Good afternoon. Thank you for tuning in. News Talk 95.3, Michiana's news channel. I'm your host, Casey Hendrickson. Phone number, 574-25-95-95-3. That is 25-95-953. You are officially 20 minutes away from open lines. You can call about anything you want. How cool is that? No other program in town gives you that ability. So, again, 5 o'clock, make sure you get in line real quick and talk about any issue you want, bring up any topic you want. It's entirely up to you. All right. Plus, I'm in an especially good mood today. So I'm not irritable today. All right. So there is that. So this is a good opportunity for those of you who don't like me very much to challenge a debate, if you will. People keep running their mouths on Facebook and crap about how they want to say things to me, but they never call on open lines when I give them the chance to.
Do you give them the number and time when they can call in, Casey?
I do. It's like, that's what Fridays of 5 to 6 are. You
give them the number. You write it out.
I don't usually write out the number.
You
but
need to write out the number.
It's pretty easy to figure out.
They're too lazy to find it. You need to supply them with it.
I just assume that they would turn the dial at 5 o'clock and hear me say the number 50 times. I just assume. I shouldn't assume things.
You forget people call in all the time and ask.
That is true.
Number.
That is true.
Even though you
and
say
then people
just as much.
And then people text us asking for the phone number. That happens all the time.
Exactly.
It's true. It does happen. All right. So I need to stop assuming. All right. 574-25-95. Huh?
You know what they say about it, Casey.
That's true. Everybody's got it. Never mind. Sorry. Can't do that joke. Can't do it. Finger on the dump button. You good to go? Okay. You remember you got 3 pushes. Okay. It's going to be a rough one. Halfway through this show and it's already problematic. Anyway, I want to thank our sponsor, Second Amendment Arms and Range, located in New Carlisle. Mention me, get half off your range time. So shoot your boomstickery for half price. Go to secondamendmentarms.net for more info. You can watch the live stream, which has been an interesting live stream, by the way. You can go to youtube.com/Casey the host. While you are there, subscribe to my channel, please. Click the like button, please. That helps me out a lot. Plus, you'll get updated on, you can do the notification thing. You'll get updated on any new videos, any new live streams that I do, including the moto vlogs, which are coming if the weather ever decides to be sunny again. Then you have twitch.tv. Is it sunny outside right now? Son of a gun. Well, it wasn't all day today. All right. So I couldn't get on the bike today. Yeah. Go to twitch.tv/Casey the host if you prefer the Twitch platform to YouTube, and you can go ahead and watch me there as well. All right. So a couple of questions that I have here. I got this one actually a couple of weeks in a row. Hypothetically speaking, if Mayor Pete were to win the presidency, other foreign countries like Saudi Arabia probably wouldn't even give him FaceTime because of his sexuality. Thoughts? ? No, they would. First of all, the president is likely not going to meet with the royal family of Saudi Arabia. That rarely happens. It does happen, but it's rare. Usually it's your Secretary of State that will do that. Okay. Now, they thought the same thing about Hillary. And Hillary was able to meet with a lot of those countries that do not respect women and do not have women's rights and things like that. The main reason for that is we're the United States of America and we can do whatever the heck we want. It's really that simple. Nobody else can say that. So yes, I understand the logic behind what you're saying, that his sexuality could be a liability in dealing with countries that have that type of a mentality. But ultimately, at the end of the day, we're the U.S., they know it, and they have to deal with us. So, no, I don't think it would actually be a hindrance at all. They might not like him as much as they would another president, but that doesn't mean anything. Casey, no brainer on the Comcast savings. You're not in Michigan anymore, Dorothy. I said this off the show. I said this on the live stream. Is that you or me? All right, we're all both buzzing. So on the live stream, I was just saying this. So Comcast has this really stupid policy that you can't just suspend your service for like a month if you're moving. You have to do a seasonal suspension, which is 3 months or 6 months. It's ridiculous. Comcast fixed this. It's seriously dumb. So I wasn't able to pause my internet service while in between places of living. Okay. And so when I called them to schedule the service at the new address, which will be in here in a couple of weeks, thank God. They transferred it over, but because it gives you a new account number because you moved addresses, the lady automatically, she was very nice, automatically gave me the new customer rate for my old internet, saved $30 a month. How awesome is that? For 12 months, it was guaranteed. And then it just kicks back up to the normal price that I'm paying right now. So I'm getting my 250 megs for like $73. It's great. So that happened. So kudos to her for doing that. And then she transferred me over to billing, and billing gave me credit for the 5 weeks that I haven't been using the internet. No fights or anything. I think it's the first time that I've had a conversation with Comcast that I haven't wanted to drive down there and stab somebody in the eye. So kudos to Comcast. I guess after all of these years, they're working on their customer service, because that was awesome. And I was very happy. And it made me not look for new internet. Because the other day when I was still inquiring, I was using I tried out their streaming television, because they were going to give me HBO and Showtime for cheaper than I was and plus Cinemax for cheaper than I was getting just HBO for the other service I use, which is the PlayStation Network. But what ended up happening is you have to pay a broadcast television fee, then you have to pay another fee that the federal government puts on there, and then you're paying for the channels and everything else. It ended up my $7 package ended up being like $35 or some garbage like that. I mean, get rid of it. I never used it. So I got that off of there, and I figured I'd ask the guy again if I could just suspend my service. He goes, nope, can't do it. So I was irritated because no fiber is in my neighborhood. But I was very pleased with my business dealings with Comcast yesterday. So kudos to them. That was awesome, and I do appreciate it. All right, 574-2595, 95.3. That is 2595-953. Said saving over $30 a month. Cool is that, dude? It's the way it should be. She didn't even ask. I didn't ask. She just did it. She's like, oh no, your rate's going to be this. And I was like, wait a minute, that's less than I'm paying now. She's like, oh yeah, well, gave you a new account number, so I just automatically gave you the promotional rate. Sweet. Yes, I will take that. Ever since net neutrality went away, Comcast has been pretty darn good. They've raised my speeds twice without raising my rates. They've lowered my rates twice and haven't even fussed about it. So it's been pretty cool. All right, we got more coming up. News Talk 95.3, Michiana's news channel.
Casey Hendrickson.
News Talk 95.3, Michiana's news channel.
Get your Impress read ready. Impress with Impress.
Still haven't said that on the.
I think I've done it twice, but I'm getting ready to do it.
Okay.
I'm gonna do it, man. I'm gonna do it. Doobie doobie doo. Doo doo. Doo doo. I mean, Comcast has like the worst customer service record of any company in the history of companies. And this past like 9 months, my dealings with them for the most part have been pretty good. Except for that stupid seasonal policy that's dumb. Because if you're moving, but you're waiting for your home to be done, which is a common thing, especially if you're buying or building, you want to be able to take a month off. Jeez. What if you're going out of town or something like that, and you're taking a vacation? Like, okay, we're going to be gone for 4 weeks. You got to take 3 months off. What? That's dumb. I'd still fire them in a heartbeat if I had fiber. In a heartbeat. Want me some fiber in my diet. So hopefully, for those of you watching on Twitch, hopefully in 2 weeks, I'll be streaming video games again. That's the goal.
Come see your dream kitchen, bath, or dream home. Your admission is free and no ticket is required. Visit hbasjv.com to see the homes and the builder showcase and plan your visit. This is your chance to meet the builders, see what your new home looks like, or get inspiration for your next
Oh, now see. Okay, hold on a second. So now I'm thinking about the layout of my house because now I'm figuring out where the hell I want my modem. Because I'm still gonna probably take my gaming downstairs. So they would have to drop a cable down, and then I'd have to run it along the roof or the ground all the way over. So it'll go down this way and then come that way. So it'll be a right angle. And then I can have it hardwired into my PlayStation. So it's easier than my last house, but still a pain in the butt. Now, while my wireless is good enough to get away with streaming and things like that with the PlayStation, with Wi-Fi, I still noticed it. Still noticed a bit of a lag there a few times.
She knows you love her. That also means she knows the best place to take her for a Mother's Day treat is the Prime Table.
Yeah, you're 100% right, B-dubs. 100% right.
She doesn't have to cook and definitely won't have to clean up.
Am I going to pay the Fallout tax? I don't know.
Casual atmosphere and great.
I don't know. I've heard about it, but I haven't read up on it yet, so I don't know.
Maybe for breakfast for one of the Prime Table's world-famous omelets or pancakes, or try one of the daily specials. The fact is, whatever she orders for breakfast will be fantastic.
I'm really not into Fallout for the multiplayer aspect of it, and I don't do the loot box thing. Although I do have a story about loot boxes today. A listener sent me the loot box story, and then I ran into a different story about the loot boxes, which was like an opinion piece about it. So, yeah, the shorter the distance, the better. But a longer distance cable versus the same distance Wi-Fi still is going to be better with the cable. So
the Ethernet for the same distance versus wireless.
Yep.
America's first motorcycle company.
So, yeah, shorter the better, no doubt about it. But got to do what's I got to do.
Your top news, traffic, and weather during Michiana's morning news first thing weekdays.
Here we go.
And good afternoon. Thank you for tuning in. Newstalk 95.3, Michiana's news channel. Your 9-year-old birthday boys today. Woo-woo! Still throwing tantrums like a sub 10-year-old. Hey, guess what I did on Monday, Joe?
What'd you do, Casey?
I impressed with Impress.
You did not.
I keep saying that I'm going to say that, and I rarely say it because I think it's a great slogan for them.
This is the first time in weeks.
Bill, I'm giving it to you for free. Impress with Impress. It seems like it should have been a no-brainer, but I'm the only one that came up with it. So, Impress with Impress Jewelry Creation. So on Monday was my anniversary, and I gave my wife a beautiful Simon G necklace, which Kelly over at Impress Jewelry Creations helped me pick out. We actually had something else picked out originally, and then I got into like a 20 to 30-minute conversation with Bill Martin, who's the owner of Impress, and I should say CEO of Impress. And we went ahead and I got done with that conversation, and Kelly said, you know what, I want to show you something else. And it was just something that I said in that conversation that she had been sitting there for 20 to 30 minutes listening intently for cues. And she took me over to another piece to show me this other piece just in case, and she was right. It was a much better piece. It fit my wife's style better. The colors were better. It was just overall more what my wife would have wanted. And I actually confirmed this with my wife later on and said, we're going back and forth between these two pieces. She said, yeah, you made the right choice. So that's the type of customer service you get there. You go in there, they offer you something to drink, they make it for you. You walk around. It's so low pressure. And you don't have mall traffic to deal with. You know what I'm talking about? The mall traffic, the people like the 13-year-olds are just looking at jewelry and kind of getting in the way and sucking up everybody's time. And not that there's anything wrong with being a jewelry store in the mall. It's just nice going to a place where you're dealing with professionals in a professional environment. And that's hard to duplicate elsewhere. But also, Impress Jewelry Creations has a bunch of pieces that you can only get there, including their own custom line of stuff. They're not available at any chain store. So you're just going to get a unique experience. And now I did share the event on my Facebook page today, facebook.com/Casey the host. They have a colored diamonds event happening right now. This is a one-day only event, ladies and gentlemen. If you go to Impress Jewelry Creations right now, you will see investment grade pieces. So you can buy extremely rare pieces that you can actually use in your portfolio because these are pieces that you will never be able to get. They have the rarest of stones that are coming from mines that are closing down in the next 18 months. And so their value is only going to increase. Go to Impress Jewelry Creations today. Their website is impressjewelers.com. But if you want to go out and see this event today, again, it's just today. You can't see this tomorrow. It's 1233 University Drive. They're in City Plaza right there in Granger next to C. Kramer Interiors and Temper Grill. Of course, let them know that I sent you, please. All right, couple of the text messages here since we're just a couple of minutes away from the open lines hour of the program. We were talking about the referendum earlier and how Elkhart avoided their referendum and that California since 2011 has increased educational spending 60%. That's 60, and has yielded negative positive results. There are no positive results in spite of a 60% funding increase. And somebody had properly pointed out to me that River Forest School Corporation did pass their educational referendum. So there were others that did pass the referendums, and you are 100% right about all of that. Thank you very much for correcting me. I was merely talking about Elkhart, a little bit closer to home, and I focused on that, but I know some of you are not there. Let's see. Casey, schools should not be architectural marvels. Love to see the wasted money on that be spent on real education. So I see that less here than I did in Las Vegas. In Las Vegas, our schools would cost tens of millions of dollars. And I used to talk about my school in Illinois when I was a kid. You know what my school in Illinois was? It was a 3-story brick building, and it was a square. That was it. That's it. The stairs and everything were inside for obvious reasons because of the weather, and there was nothing fancy about it at all. And you know what? We still learned stuff. It's amazing how that was. The schools in Las Vegas, especially the high schools, are these massive complexes, and they are extremely expensive. The landscaping alone in the Clark County School District was tens of millions of dollars a year. The landscaping, people, in the desert. This was a constant sore spot because they always ask for more money. So, yeah, it is absolutely, I agree with you 100%. All right, 574-25-95-95-3. That is 25-95-953. Statistically speaking, according to MarketWatch, majority of people are one paycheck away from homelessness. Well, yeah. Okay, so here's the deal. Americans don't have savings. We're terrible at saving because the government wants us to spend all of our money unless there is a good economy, and then they tell us to save. There's a bad economy, they tell us to spend. It's all backwards. So, yeah, technically, if you lose a paycheck, covering your rent is going to be difficult, and you could theoretically be evicted as a result of that, although that process takes longer than one paycheck. So you're usually 2 to 3 months away from homelessness, if you're technically going to be correct based on the eviction laws in the U.S. So, yeah, not 100% incorrect about that, but at the same time, you have the ability to get unemployment or find new employment, especially right now with the economy being so good. You can find new employment pretty quick. So there's a lot to factor into that. But it's still an interesting point because Americans don't save their money, and they should save their money. All right. Open lines starts right now. So if you want to call about any topic you want, we turn the show over to you. I take them in the order I get them, folks. So first come, first serve. Occasionally people tell me, why'd you take that call? I didn't like that call. Because they called. If you don't like those calls, you got to call. It's that simple. 574-25-95-95-3. That is 2595-953. Call for open lines right now. 95.3 MNC.
WTRC FM and HD1. Niles, South Bend, Elkhart.
Right now.
It's Dean's TED Talk. I haven't heard from Ted in a while.
He called earlier this week.
Did he call earlier?
We
Yeah,
posted
oh, so Ted called for. Okay. I haven't heard from Ted in forever. Here
Michiana's News Channel. Would you like to talk to Casey? All right. Can I get your first name, please? Alrighty, you are first in line, sir. Mm-hmm.
So I posted on my personal profile on Facebook, you know those little rubber change purses that used to be everywhere? And you pinch them and they open up like lady parts? And I posted it and I was like, you know what? I think it's time for these things to come back in now. Like, we could totally do designer little change thingies.
Did I tell you? Okay. Speaking of change purses. Okay,
yes.
So this dude came in to the shop. I was like, okay, dude, your total was like $18.63.
He did not pull them out of his tidy whities.
Ooh, do that. He had this like little burlap leather change purse.
Okay, so
he's gonna pull out like 83 cents and give me.
Okay.
Or whatever.
Okay.
He dumps it out and it's just gold coin.
Oh my god.
It's dollar coins.
Oh my god.
He hands me 12 of them and then gives me this $7.
Did you keep them and then swap them out for regular coins?
I mean, yeah, we did. But
No, I mean, did you keep the gold coins?
No.
And then replace them with normal coins?
No. Well, they were just dollar coins.
Okay, but their value might be better than that.
I know, but
you should have kept them.
I didn't have change or cash on me, Casey.
Well, you should have found a way, bro. I'm just trying to help you out, man.
I was busy giving people cards.
Somebody drops gold coins on your ass. You got to keep them. Got to find a way.
No, but it was just like...
That's pretty funny, though.
The weirdest fucking thing.
Because it's a gaming store. That's what's so funny about it. It's like you Mario'd your ass.
I was going more like the dude's like from a different era and it's still not adjusted.
Well, I mean, there is that, yeah.
He comes from a land of sword and stone.
From a land down under.
He comes from a land of sword and stone and doesn't remember.
I pulled these rubber things. It was like one of those nostalgia posts and things like that. I'm like, man, I used to have those. And so I posted them. I'm like, I think it's time for these to make a comeback. I've got like 3 people in there going, I still got mine. I haven't seen one of these little change purses in forever. Those things worked, and I miss them. Mine used to be so full it wouldn't close. And then change would like spill out everywhere.
And a Florida man was killed in a semi-related crash on US 31 in Berrien County.
The collision happened late Thursday afternoon when investigators say a Mishawaka man driving a Jeep Wrangler towing a trailer was struck by a semi. The impact caused both vehicles to leave the road.
Cubs are getting their butts kicked. That's because they banned a fan who was playing a kids game. It's karma. Brittany spells her name wrong. She does. Now, I would love to know what Brittany actually looks like, but she's wearing a hat right over her damn face, and you can't see at all what she looks like. What the hell? Brittany, come on. Happy, you know how you fix that problem of accessing that information? Data bunker. You get a data bunker, man. Then not one person has the information. Everybody has the information. It's all in one spot. If I put all of my stuff on the data bunker and I die, my wife has access to it. She knows what's business, what's personal, where my life insurance policies are, so she doesn't get scammed by an insurance company. She knows what everything is. You need a data bunker.
Hey guys, as many Sunday next month is Mother's Day. So surprise the women in your life who brought you into
Hells yeah, you need to do that.
appreciation for all they do as moms by getting her something from Judy's. I know, you're not sure what to get her. You've tried
Miracle that they were only injured in that damn crash. That freaking car got toasted.
well, the girls at Judy's can help with that. If she shopped at Judy's before,
Huh?
I thought someone died in the crash.
I thought it said 2 injured.
No, I think the driver of the truck died.
Did he really? No, it
if
sucks.
you can't seem to agree on what to get her, no worries. A Judy's gift card is the perfect solution.
But yeah, you're right, Mike, because people are misinforming everybody about it. When you have NBC News and everybody blurring out your hand for crying out loud and pretending that it's a friggin' racist symbol, then all you're doing is you're perpetuating the falsehood that it's really a racist symbol used by white supremacists, and it's not.
Hi, I'm Jay Farner, CEO of Quicken Loans, America's largest mortgage lender. Home buying season. So if you're thinking about buying a home, right now is the time to lock a low rate, which can save.
Yeah, so the code for discount on Data Bunker is just Casey. Say 15%. If that's what you're talking about.
With a rate shield approval, if rates go up, your low rate stays locked. But if rates go down, you get that new, even lower rate. Either way, you win. Talk to us today at 800-QUICKEN or go to rocketmortgage.com to take advantage. Here's another great reason to work with us. For a record 9 years in a row, J.D. Power
Has anybody made a sheeple song yet? I feel like we need a sheeple song. Just a general song about sheeples that doesn't advocate for or against any position. Just one that everybody can use when they want to call somebody a sheeple. That would sell like hotcakes. Good for you. Yeah, it should just be the coupon code. So you just put Casey in the coupon code and it should knock 15% off right there. If you have any issues, just go ahead and give them a call and let them know. The owner's name is Patrick. And if there's any problem, because it's happened once before, he'll be able to fix it for you, okay?
Hey, good afternoon. Thank you for tuning in. News Talk 95.3, Michiana's news channel. I am your host, Casey Hendrickson. Phone number 574-2595-95.3. That is 2595953. You can also send a text message to 45364. Please put MNC at the beginning of that message. It is the final hour free for all, which means you get to call about any topic you want. It is open lines. You can bring up any issue. You can yell at me for something. You can ask me a question. You can get marital advice, whatever you want to do. Should you propose to that person? The answer is no. But if you really do want to ask me that, you can actually call and do that. We've actually had a couple of people do that over the years. Get relationship advice. My advice is always to dump them. But maybe you can change my mind. Maybe they're worth saving. I don't know. We'll find out. 574-25-95-95-3. As always, want to thank our sponsors, Second Amendment Arms and Range. If you want to get great ammo, go to Second Amendment Arms and Range. And you mentioned me because you get 10% off in the store. You get half off at the range, and you get listener-exclusive discounts on firearms. Go to secondamendmentarms.net. All right, here we go. Jeff, your first at bat today. What's on your mind?
Hey, listen, how you doing?
I'm doing well. What's up?
Listen, this morning on 57 News on the television, there was a story out of Benton Harbor, and I just caught the tail end of your financial, the bond issues with Elkhart and the exorbitant spending. Well, this morning, there was a representative of the Benton Harbor School District who said that their graduation rate was around 30-some%, but after some sort of non-specific miracle on the computer system, now they've got over 100 kids that are getting ready to graduate.
What?
Yeah, I mean, they had gone from this low number. Now they had found some issues as far as computer entries or something, but the story was very opaque.
But
it was like, they're in the basement, and I mean, I've worked with the school district for years in terms of remedial education and other things like that, and we all know that there's great challenges there.
Yeah.
But the story this morning, seemed to lead to a conclusion that, we found a couple of computer issues, and now all these kids, there's this great number of graduates. So actually, hey, this is great. And they had a representative from the district that spoke in terms of presenting creative ideas for the students and some of these things. I just didn't know whether or not, you've gotten wind of any details on that.
No idea what it is. I have absolutely no clue. Okay, I got to head over to their, because their search function on their website is garbage. So let me head over to their, sorry, if you have a website out there and you can't search by date, just get rid of the search function altogether. It's ridiculous. All right, so let's I'm going to go into their post. Let me see if I can find something here about Benton Harbor, because that's interesting. I want to figure out what the heck is going on. So I can tell you that going back several years, speaking specifically about my uncles should not have graduated, but they did, and they did because purely of the money that the schools got for the school system. So my grandma, I remember her being irritated by this because there was no reason whatsoever for them to be able to do that. Okay, so the last story that they have on their Facebook page is from April. So I've got no clue what this is about. No clue. And if they did the story today, it probably won't even get into their RSS feed until tomorrow.
Sure.
So I'm totally clueless.
Said, because I mean we've dealt with remedial issues at the junior college level because of course being passed along, and then most of the classes the first year have to be remediated relative to like English and basic math and those things. But, that's been one of the challenges. And so, like in the South Bend case with the school, it's going to be taken over by the state and reinvented and all these things. All of a sudden, there's a creative way to redefine what expelled means, or there's a new way to define, this measurement or this standardized number or whatever, and it's like, hey, guess what? We found this, and it was a glitch, and now our numbers are right where they need to be. And so
and suddenly you're not being taken over by the state. You're getting more tax revenue. Yeah, it's well, heck, you got the golden ticket out of the chocolate bar.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely.
Interesting.
So, and so anyway, just
yeah, I'll keep my eye out for that because I had not seen that. I will definitely keep my eye out for that.
No, it's great. You take care. Be blessed.
I appreciate it. Thank you. You too. That's a nice little tip there. All right, Bill, welcome to the program. Good afternoon.
Hi, Casey.
Hi there.
Enjoy your show. I have a Mayor Pete observation and question.
Okay.
I'll ask it and then hang up and listen to you.
Okay.
Obviously Mayor Pete has added a dimension to the whole Democratic primary thing. That local interests. Agree with them or disagree with them. It does make it a little more interesting.
Sure.
The experts have always said, the pundits, that during the primary, candidates have to run to the extreme, whether it's Republicans to the right, Democrats to the left, in order to appeal to the base.
Correct.
And then in the general election, you have to run more toward the middle to attract the moderates. I'm really surprised at some of the positions that Buttigieg is taking, things that I would have never expected from someone representing the heartland. He really is trying to out Bernie or out Harris, Kamala Harris with some of these things. And I was wondering, how much of that do you think is him simply trying to appeal to the base, maybe stretching his real genuine opinions about things? Or how much of it do you think he really is the raging liberal that he's presenting to the national audience, and he just has managed to disguise it locally?
Before you hop off, I need to ask, what specifically are you referring to? Give me one or two things.
Well, he seems to be supporting the extreme abortion position.
Okay.
He seems to, he's taking up the impeachment, the rally cry for impeachment of Trump.
Okay. And you think that those weren't his positions before, or at least you didn't know that they were his positions before?
I would not have guessed them to be his positions before. And perhaps some of this is the fact that, locally as a mayor, I don't think the difference between a Democrat and a Republican at a very local level is as pronounced.
No, you're generally right, especially in a smaller community like South Bend would be. Yeah, generally, when they're running for office, their positions are not as radically different than you would typically find. But I will say that he's been pretty upfront about his abortion beliefs for a long period of time. He certainly fought against the non-kill clinics in South Bend, and he's supported the abortion clinic who doesn't have a license opening up in South Bend. So I mean, he's had that. Now, I would say that the rhetoric was muted.
Yeah, his rationale for that, though, was that it was going to open right next door to, and if I'm not mistaken, he did ultimately accommodate
there wasn't. Yeah, they got a building nearby where there wasn't a zoning variance needed. So it wasn't him per se, but he's, I would say that to a point, the rhetoric wasn't as animated as it is now. I think you have a point there. But I also follow him on Twitter, and I don't know how many people follow him on Twitter. And I think a lot of who he really is comes out in his tweets. On Twitter, I get more of the sense of who he is now over these past several years. His Twitter feed has kind of betrayed him, if you will, because as a small town mayor, you're trying not to tick everybody off, and you're a liberal, but you're not out there getting in people's face and telling everybody that if they don't agree with you, they are racist and all of that. But his Twitter has kind of betrayed him over the years. And if people don't follow him on Twitter, and a lot of people don't, then they may not pick up on that, because when he speaks publicly, like when he comes in with Mark in the morning, he tries to speak very neutral, try to be likable and that sort of thing. But his Twitter, for me, has betrayed him, at least over the past couple of years.
Okay.
So
and
I think to answer your question, I think who he is now as he's running is who he really is. And I think that what people's impression of him has been over the past several years as mayor is the muted, toned down version of who he really is.
Okay, I will confess that I am not a Twitter follower of his,
and don't bother doing it. If you're off of Twitter, stay off of it. it's horrible. I just do it for work purposes. But when you have that short period, very little text to be able to get your opinion out, and it's pretty visceral when you tweet things out, it kind of betrays who you are a lot. And so a lot of people are not going to get that perspective from him. I have, only because of my job. I mean, that's purely
Right.
the reason.
I guess I would be interested in hearing from any other listeners of yours who believe that, let's say, are somewhat surprised by what I think are much more liberal views than what I expected him to voice. Except I realize that he is playing a game against a bunch of other very. In order for him to be a viable candidate in the primary,
I got you.
These are his tickets to the game.
Fair enough.
If you don't say these things, you don't even get to play.
Fair enough. Hey, Bill, we'll put it out there, man. We'll see what people say. All right, buddy. Appreciate the call. All right, we got more open lines coming up. Newstalk 95.3, Michiana's news channel.
Michiana's news channel is everywhere. The top news and issues on Facebook and on Twitter at 95.3 MNC.
Hendrickson.
Boy.
Your breaking news and weather station.
Comfort experts, your air conditioning professionals.
The weekend is mostly dry, but still on the cool side. A high of 60 on Saturday, partly cloudy. That's the best weather day of the weekend. As Sunday, increasing clouds.
Ooh, dilly. Well, when I had Pete on, the one time he came on, right before it was a year ago, actually, right before the Memorial Day that we were going to appear at, I asked him about the abortion clinic thing, and his argument was that he didn't want the women's clinic to, he didn't want to grant the zone variance there because they could easily go right up the road and get a different building, and it wouldn't be a big deal. There was some things that were said in different articles which kind of alluded to his real thoughts on it. But that's what the caller was kind of talking about, was the zone variance there for the no-kill shelter, or the no-kill clinic.
Michiana's news channel, would you like to talk to Casey?
Welcome to Chris's Craft Corner. Let's have a beer.
Yeah. Man.
From Goose Island Brewing.
What's up? How you doing, Cutlery Man? Been a while.
Making beer that has been consistently good for a long time, and this year they've come out with a few new offerings. You've got
Starting to fade. Eyes are burning. Getting the yawns.
But today we're going to try the SPF.
Doop-ba-doop-ba-doop. Oh, SPF.
With hints of passion fruit and pineapple.
They called their beer an SPF.
5% alcohol, 17 IBUs,
SPF or SPF?
I think he said SPF. Like, as in sunscreen.
With inspirations from summer.
Maybe. I misheard, but I don't know.
Overly sweet. There's none of the added sugary sweetness or fake flavor. This is just
as far as the lawsuit is concerned, no, I think that for the most part he's remained fairly neutral about the lawsuit. Yeah, so I think you're right about that. That's the other clinic. That's the one. That's the abortion clinic that doesn't have the license that wants to open up. So yeah, I think there were some tweets about it, but I don't remember specifically what he tweeted out about it. So I it wouldn't be fair of me to talk about what his opinion was. So.
On their own, it's something different. But with this, you get that passion fruit up front, and at the end,
What the hell did I talk about the last hour? I mean, I talked about the vegan parents. What else did I talk about?
from start to finish. You can find this in your local grocery store or your favorite.
Neither do I.
Or on tap at your favorite craft bar. This has been Chris's Craft Corner. Thanks for
Now
go enjoy one.
Okay.
Someone else.
Look for the craft beers Chris talks about and listen to Chris's Craft Corner on MNC.
Did I do the K through 12 stuff in hour 1? I did. I did that in hour 1. Okay. I didn't put it in my show prep, so I'm totally lost as to what I talked about in hour 2. Well, was that the... No, that's Facebook co-founder. I did that one. Hell, I don't know. Vitamins. Yeah, I definitely have an empty wallet. The good news is that I have more money in my wallet than I would have had because I didn't get anything. So that means I have more money to spend on her. That's the ultimate strategy. Lane snipers need to be dragged out of their cars and impaled, like the scarecrow pointing to merge. Wow. Somebody was just victimized by a road terrorist, I think. Those darn road terrorists. I did a whole thing about road terrorists in Vegas on how you shouldn't let them merge. I had some cops calling, that's road rage. I was like, no, it's common sense. All right, here we go.
Talk 95.3 MNC.
And good afternoon. Thank you for tuning in. News Talk 95.3, Michiana's news channel. Do want to thank R&B Car Company, locations in South Bend and Warsaw. R&B Car Company are your used car experts. We're live streaming on YouTube at youtube.com/Casey the host. Make sure you subscribe, like, and click the notification icon, which is that little bell on there, so that way you get notified when I go live or upload a new video. And if you are on Twitch, please watch at twitch.tv/Casey the host. Make sure you click that follow button. This is the final hour free-for-all. It is open lines. We do it every Friday in the last hour of the program. Back to the phone lines we go. David, welcome to the program.
How you doing today, sir?
I'm doing well. What's up?
I heard your first caller was talking about the Benton Harbor school system.
Yeah.
And basically what it was is the transcripts weren't catching up with what the classes the students were taking. And it was like all of a sudden, miraculously, they had enough credits to graduate. There were going to be a bunch graduating in May, and then the other ones are going to graduate in August. WSPT had a news story on it.
So SPT did it as well. Okay, so
yeah.
So wait a minute. So they had the transcripts of the students weren't updating in the system, so the students were not showing credits that they had actually earned.
Correct.
But now they're saying, no, we super promise that they do or have these credits. They did earn them, and therefore they can graduate.
Correct.
Okay, so people like the first caller were saying, yeah, that seems very convenient.
I kind of thought so, too, because you would think with a computer system that it would be updated on a weekly basis or a monthly basis or whatever.
Well, we are talking about government workers here, so maybe not. It is Benton Harbor. I mean...
Yeah. I enjoyed your drop the mic you had a couple of weeks ago there in Monterey. That was a lot of fun.
Thank you very much. I appreciate that. We do it once a quarter. I hope you'll be a regular there.
As long as I'm not working.
There you go.
Tall order.
All right, man. I hear you. I appreciate it, though. Thank you so much. All right.
Have a blessed day,
Take care. You too. 574-25-95-95-3. I've been blessed twice today, Joe. How many times have you been blessed? John, welcome to the program. Good afternoon.
Hi.
Hi there.
Is this Casey?
Yeah.
Casey?
Yep, this is him.
Hi, Casey.
Hi.
Just a little food for thought there. I just turned you on, so I didn't get to hear what came on previously. But this last week, when Mayor Pete was in Texas, and Robert Francis O'Rourke saw fit to defend him from attacks from the people that are indescribable, who were hurling insults at him, apparently. I just thought that made Mayor Pete look rather weak to have somebody else have to come to his defense rather than stand up and say, look, to defend himself. I just think it looked odd, it sounded odd, and it doesn't.
You're talking about that one guy, I think it was 2 weeks ago, that one guy that was not real happy about Mayor Pete's sexuality when he was on that campaign stop?
Correct.
Okay.
Correct.
Yeah, I got you. Yeah. All right.
And even having another candidate, the news kept saying came to his defense. I'm thinking, I don't want a president who somebody has to come to their defense. And also with Mayor Pete there, I've talked to people locally, and I ask them all the time. I say, tell me 2 good things that he's done for the community, and they stutter and they stammer. Can't seem to come up with anything.
I have asked this. How many months? It's been with me for 6 months, and I've been asking since before Joe was here. all right, for those of you who are super fanboys about Mayor Pete, what has he done that's so great? Now, because, Smart Streets is widely seen as a failure, okay? There are a couple of people who like it, but generally it is panned by the community. People don't like it. You have the lights that are the beautification project right there in downtown. I think that looks great, and I like things like that, and I don't think he spent too much money on it, so I'm okay with that. Then you have the downtown South Bend reinvestment, right? Okay, but he only was able to do that because of Governor Pence. So he gets some credit for finding matching funds, but really goes back to Governor Pence. So at that point, I'm like, all right, well, he tore down a bunch of houses, and some of those houses needed to come down. But the big criticism there is that a lot of those houses, the bones were good, and they could have been rehabbed. I've asked the same thing. What is it that really jumps out at you as a major success that this guy can use on a national scale to say, look at what I did? Because the way that he's campaigning right now, he's like, well, South Bend used to be this and now it's that. Well, yeah, but South Bend used to be, you became mayor of South Bend when there was a 10% unemployment rate in the country, and now there's less than 4%. So there's a lot that has changed that he doesn't necessarily get to take credit for. So I'm in the same camp as you. I just kind of wonder. Like I said, he's a nice dude, but I kind of wonder where this success is.
A couple of years ago, Casey, I talked to people and I said, when they were looking at him for the Democratic national chair, I said they're going to run him for president. They're prepping him. Of course, they got his exposure. They have an agenda, and it's like categories. I'm thinking you got to have this, and you got to have that, and you got to have this. It's like a variety store almost when they run candidates. They're going, I want somebody qualified for president. I don't care who they sleep with. I don't care where they grew up. I don't care where their ancestors came from. I want somebody qualified with good experience and good moral integrity. That's what I want for a president. That's all I'm asking.
Yeah, so the last mayor to be a nominee was in 18 something. I couldn't remember if it was early 1800s. Okay, hold on a second. There's an article in City Lab. Why can a mayor take the White House? Historically, running a city has been no help to a presidential aspirant. 1812 was that's right, the War of 1812. 1812 was the last time there was a major party who nominated a mayor, and that's because being a mayor of any city is nothing like being a governor, and governors are most like being a president. It's one reason why senators struggle. Senators almost never win. So it does happen, but they almost never win because they don't have executive experience. So, being a mayor of a small city is certainly not going to win you any favors. But
well, they're probably grooming him for some cabinet position, man. Who knows?
Hey, it all depends on if he can whittle through this and get on the main stage of the debates. If he can do that, he's got a chance. But he's going to have to. Right now, the media is becoming bored with him, so he's going to have to do some things that are exciting. All right.
All right, buddy. Listen, you have a great weekend.
Hey,
okay?
You too. I appreciate that. All right. Once again, happy 9th birthday to 95.3 MNC is our 9th birthday today. We've got more open lines coming up in just a couple of minutes. Be patient if you're on hold. MNC News time is 5:31. Time to check out Masters Heating and Air Conditioning online. MastersHeatCool.com. Masters gets there faster.
This is Michiana's breaking news and weather station.
All right, Mom. Take care.
Birth control pills, IUDs, and other methods of birth control like that. The bill states that any birth control that could act to stop a fertilized egg from implanting in the uterus is considered abortion.
Under what bill? In what?
In Ohio.
In Ohio? Is that the heartbeat bill?
I don't know. That's just what I
No, Ohio did. Georgia did a heartbeat bill. Okay.
This is Ohio.
Were we talking about Ohio for some reason?
No,
why is that coming up?
I'm just.
Oh, you're just getting.
Gotcha.
Thank you, Tracy.
Blessed.
Oh, there you go. You got blessed. So you've been blessed twice too. Yeah, because you're blessed to be working with me.
Oh, is that what we're
Once you walked in the door, you were blessed.
Oh, is that what we're calling?
You got Granger Sprinkle, baby. Granger Sprinkle. All right, here we go. I would like a hall pass for Father's Day. Good luck with that one, man. Casey, name of the song at 4:23. Do you have any idea what bumper music played at 4:23? I don't think we have the ability to go back in the system. Now, to be fair, they asked me an hour ago, and it got buried, and I didn't see it. So, sorry. I do have amazing bumper music.
So it's Georgia and Ohio, and apparently they're.
Yeah, so Georgia's got the heartbeat bill. Okay, so it's a heartbeat bill thing. All right, gotcha. I gotcha. Whew, so for Stymie says it was Limp Bizkit. So I don't know which Limp Bizkit song played today. We have Counterfeit that plays. We have Kramer that plays. I think Behind Blue Eyes is not in the rotation right now. Huh? Not big deal. I still keep meaning to get with John. I don't remember how to friggin' load the new bumper music, and he keeps saying that he's going to show me again. See, that's how you dress to do the weather. Good for you. Good for you. It's sexy, but it's not over the top, and it's still professional and elegant looking. That's what you should look like. Oh, you know what else I had? I had, what is that Limp Bizkit song? Hold on. I had a different one today that I remember hearing.
At Temper Grill, Chef Sean works with the finest ingredients to deliver you an unmatched dining experience that changes every week to fit the time of the year.
All right, hold on. Let me open up my Spotify here because if it was Limp Bizkit, and I don't know that it was, but I'm just going to assume that. I'm going to go off of the premise that Stymie is right. Because I think I had End Together Now. I remember hearing that today. So End Together Now. I think that might be it. I'm fairly certain that's it. N Together Now. That would be my assumption. Because it wasn't the one. I don't have that in the rotation. Yeah, it's got to be End Together Now. If it was Limp Bizkit. Because I know for sure that played today. But I have the karaoke version of that. No, not Tom Coombs. Erica. So this is 423. So it would have been an re-entry. Yep, End Together Now. It was. Stymie knew it was Limp Bizkit. So End Together Now. And that is with, is it Method Man or Red Man? One of the two. It's a duet. 30 injured in New York school bus crash.
Where is Tom though?
I don't know. Haven't seen Tom today.
He got yelled at because he wore brown pants in the bottom.
Don't ever dress like that again. Take a couple of days off and buy yourself some clothes. All right, so school bus crash in New York with 30 injuries. It was carrying adults with special needs. Was it a seatbelt bus or? Looks like it hit a car. Five patients, including 4 of the special needs adults and the bus driver, were taken to Brookdale Hospital with non-life-threatening injuries. 23 patients were evaluated at the scene and cleared. Okay, so they got nothing serious. The driver of the sedan was arrested for aggravated unlicensed operating of a motor vehicle, and charges against them are pending. Do we want to take any bets on legal status of the driver of the sedan? Anyone? Anyone?
What's the difference between a bet from Elkhart Betting and a national brand? 2 things. The label and the price. The materials and construction are the same as the national brands, but because we're factory direct, we eliminate warehousing.
That's funny, B-dubs.
Hey, can I get a search of the
Like our 2-sided clean sleep set for just $299. Get the most
radio
for
WOSO,
money. By factory direct to Elkhart Betting. Find out more at
WOSU.
Well, Stymie, you solved the riddle for us, brother.
Michiana's news channel. Casey Hendrickson.
And good afternoon. Thank you for tuning in. News Talk 95.3, Michiana's news channel. I am your host, Casey Hendrickson. Phone number 574-2595-95.3. That is 2595-953. You can also send a text message to 45364. Please put MNC at the beginning of that message. Do want to thank our sponsor once again, Second Amendment Arms and Range. Had a listener yesterday ask me if they do repairs. They do. And they went out to Second Amendment Arms and Range and they got their Derringer all fixed up and operational, thanks to Paul over at Second Amendment. So if you have any repairs or cleaning that needs to be done, they also provide that service. Go to secondamendmentarms.net for contact information. All right, it is open lines. You got half an hour, well, 20 minutes really, to go ahead and give us a call, and we will be happy to take your phone call in the order that we get them. And go ahead and really, you can just talk about anything you want, honestly. So we did have somebody call earlier, just kind of ask, hey, is Mayor Buttigieg, he seems a little surprised. He feels like Mayor Buttigieg is going to the left in the primary. And he was wondering if I felt that Mayor Pete, and he was asking all of you as well, if I felt that Mayor Pete was truly who he's campaigning as now, or if he's just running to the left to win the primary. And I've told you before, I believe that he has always been the guy that he is now. In fact, I think he's still toned it down. I don't think that he's really revved it up. If you look at his Twitter feed, and like I said, I get that most of you are not following him on Twitter and paying attention to him on Twitter. I get that, but his personality comes out on Twitter. And this is a guy who routinely tweets falsehoods about the political right and routinely lies about individuals on the political right, including the president. And he is the most partisan person I can think of in local politics. And so it's kind of interesting because I've had friends too, and professionals even in this building, other radio hosts are like, yeah, Mayor Pete's like a center of the line guy. He's like right down the middle. And I just laugh hysterically because, well, he's never governed that way. He's never had that as a mayor of the city of South Bend. But anybody who pays attention to him on social media should know that that's not at all who he is. He is as far left as Ocasio-Cortez is. And, when he ran his DNC chair campaign and he had that commercial that came out and he was talking about how the Democratic Party, I've played it for you a couple of times before. I don't have it in front of me right now, but how the Democratic Party was the most irrelevant it has been in decades in American politics, and we need to find a new direction. And then he goes on and he regurgitates the exact same talking points that they have used over and over and over and over again. So I believe that Mayor Pete is one of the most left-wing candidates running for the Democratic nomination. I believe that he believes everything that they believe in more, but like I've said before, he presents it in a nicer package, right? So he's a lot like Ocasio-Cortez and Bernie, but he's not abrasive, and that's his appeal. That's where his strength is, actually. And perhaps because he hasn't dialed it up enough, some members of the press do not view him as entertaining enough to win, which is why we're starting to see some members of the press say he's boring, and therefore they don't want him to win. So that could be, like I said, he can overcome that. It's just a matter of how he campaigns and how he strategizes. But no, I do not believe that he is a moderate or anywhere near the center. He is as left as you get. Okay, if you follow this guy on social media, he gives you all of the indications that that's where he is, and I'm right. Ted, welcome to the program. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, sir.
What's up, bud? We were just talking about you. We hadn't heard from you in a while.
Oh, no, I have a problem.
Okay.
I had the cataract eyes.
Did it go well?
My sight. Yeah, I had the surgery done May 1st. Left eye, it's okay. Now
I'm glad you're doing well. My grandma just had it, hers removed as well.
Yeah, no, I'm trying to. My age. So I want to teach you a new word.
Uh-oh.
It's a Latin word. Let me write it down. I will spell to you. Screw. Paper. Okay.
What language is it again?
Yeah, I will tell you. It's lucrabator.
Okay.
Lucrabator means the one that study at night. Last night I read with my right eyes up to 4 o'clock in the morning. 40.
Mm-hmm.
Lucrabator is like you, because you are study all night or do work all night, and the next day you go to work.
That's kind of, much to the chagrin of my wife, but yeah.
So it's Lucrubator.
Okay, hold on. Lucruba as in Bravo?
Yeah, Bator.
Tor.
Yeah, it's a Latin word. We call it lucrum. It's a work.
Boy, I can probably get in a lot of trouble saying that word. Okay.
No, it's not possible. It's very rare.
Okay, I got it.
That I see is President Trump.
Interesting.
Look at him. He's sending the taxing at 5 o'clock in the morning, or 3 o'clock, or 2 o'clock. That means he sleeps very few hours.
Huh. Hey, Occidental Brewing Company has a beer called that. It is a German Doppelbock style beer. How about that? You're not the only one floating that word around, man. Interesting.
No, if you buy a dictionary, look if they had that wording.
You got it.
Then you know that word. So I wish you good luck. And another thing, I would like to tell you something.
Uh-huh.
With the kids, my mother told me, have division of labor. And then I went to my wife. I said, my mom told me have division of labor.
Mm-hmm.
You take care of the kids, and I take care of the school, to which school we send. And I work 2 and 3 jobs in Chicago to send my kids to private school. So you can see, because the woman knows how to discipline them, and the father has to think how to educate them. So that's a good thing to do.
Interesting. Hey, I appreciate it, bud. Thank you so much.
Okay. Good luck to you and to your family. I will call you and let you know how my eyes are coming.
Let me know. I hope it goes well. All right. Thank you so much. Okay.
Thank you, sir.
All right. We've got more of your open lines coming up. News Talk 95.3, Michiana's news channel.
Casey Hendrickson.
News Talk 95.3, Michiana's news channel.
Your breaking news and weather station.
All right. So is Latin. Doo-ba-doo-ba-doo.
The weekend is mostly dry, but still on the cool side. A high of 60 on Saturday, partly cloudy. That's the best weather day of the weekend. As Sunday, increasing clouds and possibly some showers. Highs only in the mid-50s. The chance of rain may be higher Sunday night into early Monday. Monday, partly cloudy, 58.
The only reference I can find to that word is in the full text of the Gentleman's Magazine. This is the perfect example of like a culture clash. The Gentleman's Magazine, Volume 91, Part 1, January through June, 1821. Talk about the difference in meaning, right? What a couple of hundred years does. Right?
Okay, so what's the word mean?
Hold on a second. It was something about something at night. Okay, so Luke Rue. Okay.
She knows the best place to take her for a Mother's Day treat is the prime table. Don't put off the plan to take mom out.
I mean, this is like totally archived. This is archive.org, so I'm like trying to pull it.
The prime table is the perfect blend of casual
Come on.
and great food. So here's
Oh,
your plan.
Crazy Dale's on the line too. All right.
Maybe for breakfast for one of the prime table's world famous omelets.
Oh,
or pancakes. Or try one of the daily specials.
Yeah, no,
The fact is, whatever she orders for breakfast will be fantastic, and it's served all day. You can't get mom out for breakfast.
It is mentioned one time.
Equally as fabulous.
It is mentioned one time in this one article.
And the best part is that it all leads to a spectacular homemade
What does
dessert.
the word
It's no secret. Mom wants
Well, it's like written in the article, so there's like no definition of it. Let's see, as it were, from the clods and the dunghill, and attaining from its own native stores of imagery and force of sentiment eminence and justly merited fame among the productions of these higher lucrabators, who from the appointment of Oatenray, never even heard of that word, or certain favorable circumstances connected with their moral being retain in general an exclusive dominion in the empire of mind. Holy hell.
Oh, good.
Oh my God, absu. I have not seen the word absu in a million years.
Michiana's news channel. Would you like to talk to Casey?
Crazy.
All right, can I get your first name? Alrighty, I will try to get you on there.
It is from a piece called The Eye by John Clare, which was in the Gentleman's Magazine.
That means our great weekly values run from Sundays through Saturdays.
Crazy.
J-O-H-N?
Shop on Saturday.
JOHNCLARE.
The new weekly values are stocked, marked, and ready.
This is such a trip.
The microscopic eye.
It just says the eye. It just says the eye.
It's
where
a
I'm
poet. It's a poem.
at. Yeah.
It's graduation season.
It is so nuts though, because I can't find, and I even did Latin, because if I do just the way that he spelled it, I get all of these corrected spellings, but they all go to words that don't mean what he said meant. So,
Or do it yourself with ready-to-cook selections from the meat department. You dream it, Martin's can help make it happen. Graduation parties are fast approaching, so call online now. Make Martin's your graduation destination.
Oh well.
Hey, I'm Andy. If you don't know me, it's probably because I'm not famous. But I did start a men's grooming company called Harry's. The idea for Harry's came out of a frustrating experience.
What's your nickname? Oh crap.
Most brands were
What am I missing?
overpriced, over-designed, and out of touch. At Harry's, our approach is simple. Here's our secret. We make sharp, durable blades and sell them at honest prices for as low as $2 each. We care about quality so much that we do some crazy things, like buy a world-class German blade factory. Obsessing over every detail means we're confident in offering a 100% quality guarantee. Millions of guys have already made the switch to Harry's, so thank you if you're one of them. And if you're not,
The sheer amount of vitamin D text that I got earlier is just hysterical.
handle, shave gel,
Absolutely hysterical.
for just $3 plus free shipping. Just go to harrys.com and enter 1616 at checkout. That's harrys.com, code 1616.
What's that?
Enjoy.
He died on May 20th.
You did?
So you can add more life while
Born July 13th, 1793. Died May 20th, 1804.
Get a 4-pack for just $4.99 each after sale price and mail-in rebate. Plus, a Menards gift card is perfect for Mother's Day.
Somebody's really complaining about George Norrie last night. Oh man, the old super glue coin trick.
Your breaking news and weather station.
$58.50. Got 5 minutes.
And good afternoon. Thank you for tuning in. News Talk 95.3, Michiana's news channel. I'm your host, Casey Hendrickson. Got a message about a half hour ago. Casey, you talked about the vegan parent sentenced to 5 years. I did. Well, they're facing 5 years. But yep, I certainly did. Lots of angry vitamin D texts as a result of one caller that we had during that topic, by the way. Back to the phone lines we go. We have Joe. Welcome to the program.
Casey, hi.
What's up?
Good to talk to you.
You too.
Quick question for you. I was doing some thinking. Would Mayor Pete, if he weren't openly gay, be subject to charges of being the beneficiary of white privilege?
Actually, people are charging him with that right now.
Because I was thinking, only child, 2 professors, gives him a lot of advantages that people don't have.
Yeah, he's actually getting that. There was a whole article written about him being too white. And then with some of the articles about him being too boring, part of that is he's a boring white dude. And he's the stereotypical wealthy white kid. And so, yes, he would get more flack for that if not for his sexuality. I believe so. But he's still getting that flack now.
Well, I have to say one thing. I was disappointed in Mayor Pete. You know, why is it that he had to go and worship at the altar of Al Sharpton?
Yeah. And then once again, forget how to eat fried chicken.
Yeah, I mean, why is
pick it up and eat it.
Yeah, why do these guys have to do that? You know, given that Al Sharpton is, well...
Al Sharpton's an anti-Semite and a racist.
Yeah.
Okay, you shouldn't need to go to Al Sharpton. Al Sharpton does not represent the black community. And it's...
No, it's like worshiping a pagan god just because you want to adhere to you want to get in the group.
Yeah. Well, part of the problem is that Mayor Pete, who begged his audience the other day to go find him diverse followers and supporters, is that he needs to reach out to minorities because he's only attracting rich white people. So he's got to diversify his base at this point in time. So he's asking for help doing that. And why not go to Al Sharpton, even though there's plenty of other people that are better, more qualified, and not subhumans like Al Sharpton is, and could easily give him that cred. But go figure.
Well, Al Sharpton's going to have a new show. It's going to be called My Favorite Charlatan.
Oh, my God. Don't get me in trouble. I'm already risking protests every week as it is, Joe. All right.
Thanks. It's good talking to you.
You too. Take care. Appreciate it. All right. 574-2595, 95.3. Will I Am. What's up?
Hey.
Hi there.
Wanted to talk to Casey.
Yeah, I'm him.
Casey, all right. I thought you were on the air still. I'm listening to
I am on the air with you right now.
Very good. All right. I'm listening to it delayed. Hey, so as far as you're talking about Mayor Pete, I believe that you hit the nail right on the head. Right now, with him, as far as him coming off as being a little bit boring or whatever, we know that somebody else is running his campaign for him. And I really believe that he's standing there waiting for all these other ridiculous, ostentatious people that are running and the comments that they're making for them to kind of push them to the side and then really come on with a robust campaign that he thinks he's going to be able to go ahead, even though it's the same ideas, even though it's the same agenda, that he's going to come on with it, and that after some of these other guys fall to the wayside, and or women, then they're going to look at him, they're going to go, oh yeah, this is the great white hope.
If I think I understand the strategy, the way that I see it anyway, I think I get it. If he can get to the debate stage and get to the main stage, right now he teeters on main stage, second stage. He goes back and forth. Right. If he can get on the main stage, he's going to try and position himself like Kasich was going to try and position himself as the reasonable guy up there. And and he may have a chance of doing it. Kasich wanted to do that. The problem was that somebody didn't give Kasich his medication that first debate, and he paced around like a madman, frothing at the mouth. And he looked crazy doing it. So if he can do that, there's a strategy. This is a strategy in sports too. There's a strategy of staying close but not taking the lead until the very end.
Absolutely. You're the lead. You've got a big target on your back, and everybody's after you.
That's right. So if he can get to the debate stage, I really think that he's going to have an opportunity to kind of expose himself, to a bunch of people who think he's boring. And then all of a sudden,
what we say now about that.
And then all of a sudden, he can make the case too. He can make the case of, look, we've had 4 years of not boring. We could probably use boring right now. And so it's, if I understand his campaign strategy, and it's not a bad strategy. I mean, he's doing fine. He's doing okay. He's getting outraised by people you would expect to outraise him, but he's getting a lot of media attention, and he has the right people behind him, so he can absolutely make a play. Hey, I got to run. I'm actually down to 9 seconds. I'm sorry, buddy.
I appreciate it. Thank you.
You bet. You take care. Everybody have a wonderful weekend. We appreciate it. Happy Mother's Day to everybody out there. See you Monday.
What do you need done?
Ooh, that snuck up on me. I'm so used to the other time. Anyway.
Or maybe you just want an entirely new room added to your home.
Oh man.
They come to your home with vision.
Ooh. Let me take a nap. Yeah. All right. Any last minute comments, questions, stuff, Dilios?
Works with higher end vendors, materials, and craftsmen to complete truly custom projects.
I finally got to see the Ocasio-Cortez garbage disposal video. That was pretty damn funny, though. Yeah, it was pretty funny. But again, perfectly plausible that she would have never had one. Okay. The first time that my kids heard garbage disposals, they jump like a son of a gun. So I feel Ocasio-Cortez's, pain's not the right word, but her suspense. You need a new knife. What do you need? Is it a replacement or a new knife? What are you looking for? asdefense.com. Hey, those new artisan knives that are on the homepage, and I've got 4 different styles right now. I think a couple of them haven't got up on the website yet. Dude, those are nice.
Just don't order a Spectre G. It's going to take them a while to get it going.
If you order a Spectre G, it's going to take me about 2 weeks to get it to you because everything's in storage right now. But the artisan knives, the ones that have the carbon fiber scales on them, and like I said, I think I've got 2 more that have to go on the website. They are really nice, and they're very affordable. D2 steel, carbon fiber scales on them, just really, really nice. They're not automatics or anything like that, but they're flippers, and they have good action on them. Super nice knives. Very happy with them. I'm going to be skinning a deer. All right, well, maybe not a carbon fiber knife then. I've got Centurions. I've got Centurions up the wazoo. A lot of people use a Centurion for their hunting. Yep. The Centurions I have. Easy. It's just the Spectre Gs. I sold out of the ones that were assembled, and then I started cobbling together some parts that I had laying around. They weren't going together properly, so I have to get back into storage and get... is it still... Yeah. So I have to get back into storage.
And then the clip.
The clip is messed up. Yeah. I'll just get you all the new parts, dude. I'll just get you a new one. Like I said, I had some parts that were laying around, and I assembled them, and they're not the new ones. So, but Centurions are good to go. Those are the fixed blades, and lots of hunters use them. Hunters love the Centurion. Got that one ready to go. But Spectre G is going to take a couple weeks, which they're not a hunting knife anyway. So.
Hi, I'm Jay Farner, CEO of Quicken Loans, America's largest mortgage lender.
Doopy doop doop.
About buying a home. Right now is the time to lock a low rate, which can save you money every month on your new mortgage. With our
A lot of people are talking about the damn little change Percy things on my profile. What the hell?
Rates go up, your low rate stays locked. But if rates go down, you get that new, even lower rate.
All right.
You win. Talk to us today at 800-QUICKEN or go to rocketmortgage.com to take advantage. Here's another great reason to work with us.
I didn't talk about the bartender. That was the damn story I teased. Son of a... I kept sitting here going through my prep and going, what the hell was the story that I teased? And it was the bartender. I didn't talk about the stupid bartender. God, that's a good story, too. I mean, it's a terrible story, but it's a good story. All right, y'all got about a minute or so. If you got a question or a comment before we head into the weekend, because I will be busy for a significant chunk of this weekend. So she went to jail. They held her responsible because the person that she served alcohol to went on a murder spree. So let me go ahead and give you the story here from CBS News. A Texas bartender who served a man who later went on a deadly shooting spree in September of 2017 was arrested and charged last week by authorities in Texas. She's 27 years old. She was charged with violating Texas law when she served Spencer Height enough drinks that his blood alcohol level is 4 times the state's legal limit. Height then drove to his ex-wife's house in Plano, Texas, and shot and killed 8 people. She was arrested on the Texas Alcoholic Beverage Commission concluded in a report that she violated Texas law, arguing a person is guilty of violating the sale of certain persons offense if he or she negligently sells an alcoholic beverage to an habitual drunkard or an intoxicated or insane person. Now, the crime is a misdemeanor. It carries a penalty of a year in jail or a $500 fine or both. But so her lawyer basically said, Spencer Height's decision to destroy the lives of 8 other people is unrelated to the 4 drinks that Height consumed at the local public house on September 10th of 2017. So he got drunk, killed 8 people, and they're holding her responsible for giving him the liquid courage to do it. Saturday, I listened to you on Measure Twice. Oh, okay. I was really tired on Measure Twice today, so if my performance was not up to par, you let me know. I didn't feel like I was really prepared for the show today. Damn. Oh, yeah. All right. So last chance. Get your comments, questions in now. I'll bounce out of you. YouTube Blue. Oh, yep. Chickenpox Day, Alex. That'll be on Mother's Day. That's the anniversary of the day that I got the chickenpox. That was my mom's day present. I was 7, I believe. Yeah, it's a messed up story. It's some bull. She's too pretty to be in jail. I like saying that just to tweak people. Take care, Hayukin. Hayukin Rice. It's a great name. Great name. All right.
Last name's actually Rice.
Rise. All right, I'm going to bounce out, everybody. So have a great weekend. Mom's out there. Happy Mother's Day. All of that jazz. And you all be safe, man. We'll see you on Monday. 4 times seems high for still. Yeah. And that's just it. You know, she served him more alcohol than maybe she probably should have. But they're only going after her because he killed people. So that's the thing. All right. Take care, folks. I got to bounce out of here. I will see you all on Monday.